I think the interesting thing as well, Dabston, is the way this is now played out, where we've got later on, we're going to have Marine versus Vortex, folks. We open up with Beasty versus LucifroN. I was digging into the stats, and this is kind of interesting, Dabston. If it had been a Beasty Vortex matchup, it's a 50% win rate between the two. They are dead even, just as likely to take it. However, this matchup heavily favors Beastie, a 71% win rate across all their games combined, 62% when you aren't accounting for series instead of just individual games. But fair to say that Beastie, time and time again, has proven that he has LucifroN's number.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, it's weird considering LucifroN and Vortex both are considered, I would say, in this like aggressive gameplay, aggressive style. But I guess there's still that slight difference where Vortex, I would say, is more almost all any, where Lucifron will lean into maybe the macro and kind of that bigger picture play a little bit more. Both exceptional on hybrid on water maps though. So this tournament, this map structure, I would say actually leans into Lucifron and Vortex's gameplay in general, which is probably why we see them into the semis like we, haven't been expecting them beforehand.
Yeah, and I wonder maybe if there wasn't enough scrimming going on there, right? It's perfect situation for Vortex and Lucifer Crackety, right? Separate sides of the bracket, meet in the grand finals, scrim, scrim, scrim. Meanwhile, Beastie, I don't know if you saw his Twitch title yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's some along the lines of really need scrim partner. Last second, just desperate to find more games. There's been a big question mark from the community, and Beast even admitted himself about whether he's actually had enough time and enough practice on this map pool.
I mean, definitely tough to say. Whenever you personally feel like, okay, maybe I don't have enough practice, doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually the case, because we do see Beastie and like his previous performances so far, they definitely haven't been looking shabby at all. So maybe he doesn't feel like he's in shape, but actually is in pretty good shape. That's always the question to ask in the end, right? Like a lot of it doesn't necessarily come down to repetition as well, but also like in these high level tournament games, a lot of it also just comes down to adaptation.
You've been surprised by how many Roost picks have been getting through here, Dabston? Because I feel like we go back a tournament, this should never ever be seen, but all of a sudden, this tournament, I want to say half of the series, it's managed to creep on in.
Yeah, I mean, it's one that you've seen both Chinese variants get banned quite a bit, the Zuji and China in general, just because of the strength onto the hybrid maps, onto, a couple different ones there. But Roost kind of being left open still allows like a lot of variability throughout, not only hybrids, but also on land maps. They're very, very strong with their, classic 2TC Kremlin build. Can't really dive into that eco, can't really pressure that. And then they just macro on up. So it's one that we do get to see a lot more civs than what we're used to. And then the best of sevens, we're going to get to see the Byzantines coming out from Beastie as well.
Yeah, and Roos, 50% win rate. The only ones to have that perfect balance, weirdly enough. But Crackety, I know you're going to want to talk about this Byzantine pick because I know you like to appreciate stats, but also you like to dig deeper. We have seen the Byzantines on paper underperforming. I think it's 5 wins, 9 losses. But that's usually because of the fact that a lot of people pick them right in the group stage. Do you think it's also because of the map pool we're using here in Master of Realms?
Yeah, I think the map pool 100% plays a big role in this as well. Mainly for the reason that there aren't actually too many maps where you would actually pick Byzantines, which makes it very predictable for your opponent. Oh, okay, this is Dry Arabia. My opponent's going to pick Byzantines. To pick a counter civilization for those maps. There aren't that many counters for Byzantines, granted, but some did make it into LucifroN's draft here. So, for example, we got the Mongols, which do actually do a pretty good job against the Byzantines, or the Ayyubids, also very, very good civilization to pick against the Byzantines. So overall, even though LucifroN doesn't have English access to English, which I think is probably the best civilization to pick against Byzantines, his draft still, like, it has answers for Byzantines here, no doubt.
Yeah, I feel like we've got some signals of aggression, things like Delhi in the draft for Beastie. But I don't know about you, Bad Dabson. I'm looking at this draft overall from Beastie, and it feels like it's leaning into his comfort playstyle, right? This guy is known for being more of a turtle and more of a defending player. And at least 5 of those civs mark that bill for me.
Yeah, I mean, I find it where almost every draft I'm like, oh, Beastie got his, his comfort picks, his comfort civilizations. And I feel like that's almost just a testament to the player that Beastie is. He is comfortable on almost every single civilization. He used to be the HRE player, and that was his main civ. And now it's Byzantine. See, there was that tournament that I think he played Mali every single game, the whole entire tournament. And then he was the Mali king for a while. Now
Yeah.
it's kind of everything. It's just that kind of macro gameplay. There's so many games that Beastie, you'll find him that you think the game's over, you think he's out of it, and 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, he's the one on top making it, a cleanup.
Now, I'm looking at this map pool, right? We've done the map draft by Surfshark here, Crackety. And this got mentioned. This type of set should maybe favor LucifroN when you think about all these different maps. You've got water maps in there. We've got unfamiliar maps like Socotra. But what I am noticing is a fairly comfortable amount of familiar terrain for Beastie here that could favor him, right? We've got Coastal Cliffs, Dry Arabia, Hill and Dale, Four Lakes. These are all things. And here I come again. Wait, am I a Dry Arabia fan this time? No, stick me on Migration, okay? Like then we can just. That's why that never gets picked. It doesn't exist anymore. But I think the interesting thing here is we mentioned statistically Beastie is favored. We thought LucifroN should have an edge due to the map pool. But this is looking more like the type of series that could go 7 games and still give Beastie a slight edge.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the like maps here overall, we have like 2 pretty much pure water maps with Archipelago and Holy Island, where the Spanish brothers definitely do shine 100% of the time. Hybrid maps as well. I would say Four Lakes. LucifroN has a very good shot there as well. The remainder of the maps, though, mostly just land maps. But oh, okay, look at that. We do actually have our first pick draft here for Dry Arabia.
Ooh.
And it kind of feels like LucifroN anticipated Byzantines here. I would have anticipated Byzantines as well. But no, it's actually going to be Ayyubids versus Delhi there.
And now this is an interesting matchup at the moment because I feel like these are 2 tempo-based civs. Is there one that you've noticed Dabston has a particular edge out of these 2?
I mean, I just feel like Ayyubids in general, if you lean into those timings and you don't get punished for your timings, then they're very, very hard to punish in general. They have that castle age, getting those extra villagers on out, just a lot of different abilities to kind of almost not allow Delhi to get that full map control, get the sacred sites, and get that kind of time ticking going to where it's really going to put the pressure on Lucy.
Yeah, wasn't there a feeling for a while, Crackety, with the Desert Raider opening, you kind of couldn't begin with a Ghazi, but I think most people over time have realized that doubling down on Ghazi kind of works here, considering those Desert Raiders are a double-edged sword.
Yeah, Desert Raiders, they do still have that range tag, so they do take bonus damage from the Ghazi Raiders. Overall, yeah, I think Ghazi Raiders are just way too good of a unit to like let yourself be tricked into making archers instead against Desert Raiders. Ghazi just absolutely formidable unit there, tons of HP as well compared to normal horsemen. They can tank a couple of shots there from the Desert Raider, and most importantly, even if you take some damage, you can just go back to your monastery, to your mosque, and heal that Ghazi Raider up again. And your opponent, unless he makes additional production buildings, he can't just get those Desert Raiders up again.
I feel like we've been seeing players neglect that element a little bit recently, Dabston. Like I've seen plenty of games at the moment, scrims and officials, where the scholars, it's almost like people have forgotten to actually pull them out and use them as part of their builds.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like when we've been seeing obviously the Abbey of the Kings a lot more with the English and you getting the king back and healed up. It's almost like that same exact thought process. Jump back to home. Yeah, you might sacrifice just a little bit of timing as far as your research and text go when you pull that scholar on out of the mosque. But keeping your units healthy really kind of creates this snowballing effect when you are that map control civilization. You're going to be wanting to move out to the sacred sites, take up all the berries, take up what all those outlying resources, and then not have that farm transition that no Delhi, no berry loving civilization wants to play.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is like when we get deep in this draft, we're really going to kind of start to see whether these underperforming civs can find the right situation. Because I do notice that Joan pick in particular at the end here, Crackety, she's been having a hard time, man. Like a civ that everyone thought was broken when the expansion first came out, a little bit too Warcrafty, didn't feel familiar. Yet as we sit down and we reflect, time and time again, she's dipping low on that win rate. And in this tournament, she's sitting down at an ugly 20% win rate.
Yeah, I mean, Jean, she did suffer from quite a lot of nerfs time and time again, right? I think it was valid. I think a lot of the nerfs were valid there. She was very, very strong at the beginning, right? Like super, super front loaded in her stat kits. Basically, if your opponent got to level 3 Jean and both players were still in feudal age, the game was already over at that kind of point in time, which was hilarious. But yeah, in some situations. But I think a couple of times, sure, maybe a little bit over nerfed in some regards, like nerfing stats on top of experience gain as well. Did make her suffer a little bit in her transition periods, right? Like now she gains her level 3 just way, way, way later, and it takes her a while. It takes her a while to really build up that power, like that snowball effect that we used to see from Jean.
I think it's also maybe a case of when you have that type of gameplay style, it's either very oppressive and very powerful, or because it's so predictable, it's naturally underpowered, right, Dabston? Like the one that comes to mind that we're going to see in this game, Delhi, for about 85% of their games, are going to do the exact same thing, right? They're going to roll in feudal, they're going to capture sacred sites, and they're going to run that clock down. Few games they'll go castle, but I feel like Joan has this extreme where we've seen the 2 TC experiment, it hasn't really worked out. In most cases, people are now dialing back to the all-in-one TC, which we just return to the classic counter, right? Hunker down and go castle.
Yeah, it definitely kind of creates this hard game plan when you know exactly what your opponent's going to be doing. Based on the earlier days of, like we were talking about before the JD nerfs, it was, hey, as long as you don't fight JD, that's your only chance in the game. Delay XP as long as possible and get to castle. Now you can take some fights. You can still take some trades. It takes a lot longer for XP to end up getting to level 3, and that level 3 is not quite as strong. So it kind of just kind of leans into, especially the higher elo gameplay. You said it's an all-in. All-inning is never a place you want to be, because if you make one little slight mistake, if your all-in fails, it's game over from there.
Yeah, and now in fairness, BC has his weak components as well. The Ottomans have definitely been underperforming in this tournament. 10 games, 40% win rate. But the funny one is people thought I was going to say Order of the Dragon. Those guys are on top of the world right now, Crackety. Third best performing Civ, 13 picks with a 62% win rate and a map pool that is absolutely gorgeous for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the water maps, right? HRE, for the most part, just gets banned on those water maps. And one of the main benefits that Order of the Dragon have, even above HRE, is that once the wood line goes away from like the range of the Archon Chapel, they still have that 28% bonus gathering speed on their villagers, meaning that they still have that huge eco advantage, even like 10 minutes into the game.
And it's interesting as well, right? Because when you crunch the numbers, although you're producing less villagers, from a gathering rate, you make up for it. I think the only negative is meant to be around the wheelbarrow element and the gathering and walking, where that maybe makes it a little bit less efficient. The reason we're digging deeper, folks, is for a very good reason, though. We have a map pool here that is so wet, I want to phone up Charlie and see if we can get Moist Esports involved in the scene, because it feels like it's appropriate. But the way this is going to work is we have to go around the world to every single round to see who has Dominion overall before we can return to them again. So you may see a water map, but you will not see another until at least the 6th game. The question mark is whether we can get that deep. Beasty, an outstanding record up against this particular Spaniard, but LucifroN, with a map pool that could favor him, we're going to start the bloodbath off in a good old classic Dry Arabia. Delhi in the hands of Beasty, LucifroN to the Irobids, a best of 7 single elim kicks off now.
And here we go. Starting us off in game number 1, LucifroN in the color yellow against Beasty in the color teal. Irobids versus Delhi on our favorite map, Dry Arabia. Open map game number 1.
Yep, both players going for the berry opener, just as expected. We're going to see how the sheep hauls are going to be going. And is that actually a second scout play by Beasty? I was wondering why the villager count graph was a little bit lower, and opting for a double scout opening for Delhi.
That is so weird. That is actually so weird, especially in this matchup, right? Like, you don't really need all of those bonus sheep in theory, like if you want to play aggressive. But this kind of makes me think, okay, maybe BC's plan is to play maximum aggression here and put very, very little into his own defense, which is why he will want those extra sheep in order to stay extra long on LucifroN's side without needing to move back or move out on his side of the map for additional resources. Maybe that's the plan here. The question is, though, if that's going to be worth it, because this scout is going to delay his timings a bit.
Yeah, it delays his timings a bit, but it will continue to allow Beasty to gain that knowledge, gain that information throughout the game. I find there's a lot of times, in this middle grounds where you're needing to grab vision, you're needing to grab information, but you might also need to, be dropping off sheep at home or go checking out the sacred sites. And it'll allow Beasty to kind of have a couple different points. And one thing you'll notice about LucifroN's spawn is a lot of his food is all really kind of into the southern side. He's got 2 deer packs and a berry bush all very close to each other. So if Beasty's able to continue to pressure just that main southern point, LucifroN's going to be struggling for food.
Could be. To be fair, like the 1 deer pack there to the south, that's very easily defendable. I want to say, like when it comes to deer packs overall, you got to put a couple of walls down, like to your stone between the wood line and the edge of the map. But overall, still very much defendable. When it comes to berry spots, I want to say like Beasty has a pretty good one, like to the east of his base, very defendable there as well, easy to wall off. Has a very nice deer spawn in the back of his base as well. Overall, no like not too big of a discrepancy here between the 2 spawns.
And we see the age up coming in. Is that the growth wing coming right off the bat there for LucifroN? So wanting the villagers, he's also got 4 villagers on the same berry bush. So let's make sure he doesn't lose himself 50 food there. But what this could allow him to do is just gain that little bit of extra tempo during feudal age. And he's already up a villager. He's going to be up a few more. And this could allow him to deny the sacred sites, kind of get Delhi a little bit more on that back foot.
Yeah, 4 villager lead, definitely nothing to sneeze at. And also having an additional, 300 food available through the berries kind of makes up for one of the sheep at least that he's not getting here. Overall, looking at the sheep count, BC, what does he have? He's got like 13 additional sheep that he's got on top of the 3 starting sheep. So should be sitting at like 16 sheep right now.
Yeah, definitely going to allow BC to sit at home for quite some time. And as the game continues to, if this does become a feudal age game, continues to expand out in feudal age, Beasty won't have to be as vulnerable on that resource expansion.
Yeah, so 9 sheep to 16, definitely a lead there for Beasty. But he did sacrifice one of his villagers for that. And the question's going to be, like, I feel like if LucifroN, since LucifroN is going for those additional 3 villagers for the economic and growth, I kind of feel like maybe this is going to be more a play towards feudal age aggression here. I really like the idea with Ayubits playing a prolonged feudal age and trying to reach that golden age tier 2 before aging up. I think, yeah, okay, it looks like Beasty is now also going to try and lame the deer here from LucifroN.
Yep, he's already laming one of the packs. He's bringing the scout around to get some information as well as using the other one to lame. So we'll have vision of that age up being the growth wing. So won't be as surprised as we were when we ended up seeing it. And then has the information to play it out his own way. Doesn't have any, blacksmith yet. Doesn't have his own production buildings yet. Whereas Lucy already has a horseman in queue.
Yeah, horseman in queue, 4 villagers on gold as well. LucifroN's just kept grabbing the economy upgrades really, really quickly here. Already has double broadex. Wheelbarrow just came in. Horticulture now on its way as well. And he'll be getting these a lot quicker than the deli. If we can take a look at over at BC side right now, as a deli, it takes him a while to grab all of these upgrades. So it's going to be a while until he gets them in. And looking at the food income now as well, I wonder if Beasty has what it takes in order to keep up with the production of his units. He's also going for a blacksmith now. So I don't think he'll be able to contest any of the sacred sites within the next 3-4 minutes.
Yeah, he does have the scholar in the stables for himself, so Ghazi Raiders will be popping out rather quickly, but it will be this kind of cavalry war to start out in feudal age.
And now also adding the barracks in, so BC spots that though. So we should be seeing an archery range being dropped fairly soon by Beasty, either that or his own barracks. Oh, Horseman
Beasty?
might actually be getting a villager kill there.
That's a veal kill.
It is. Scholar comes in. Oh. Not enough.
Oh. And now that 4 villager lead is now expanded into 5 with a good little pick from LucifroN. Not too much idle time caused, but the Vil pick more than makes up for it.
And behind all of that, I believe LucifroN by now should have reached Golden Age Tier 1. So not only is he 5 to 6 villagers ahead, But also on top of that, he's having a much better economy behind all of that, plus 10% gather rate.
Yep. And he just runs right past those Gazis, leaves his scout out to dry, but he's diving right back onto those berries again. Fortunately, Beasty does have the sheep at home to fall back to, but LucifroN's still just doing a great job of keeping the aggression on the opposite side of the map, not having his eco, not having to worry about any of his own stuff at home.
Second blacksmith is now being dropped as well. Got the picture-in-picture here showing us the deer nicely spread out over in the base of LucifroN. So a farm transition, not a farm transition, but a food transition over to the deer is going to be at least a little bit painful here. Blacksmith upgrades also coming in for LucifroN now. Ghazi numbers are starting to build though.
Yeah, Ghazi numbers and horseman numbers are even. LucifroN does have those few extra spearmen to account for, and he's been sitting those units at home, not moving out with those other than the 3 horsemen at the very beginning.
We can sort of see like a little bit of the disadvantage when you do lane the deer, when you kill them early on. You can't really tell when your opponent's on them because you don't see him kill them through the fog of war. That's a little bit of a disadvantage. Beasty right now trying to look, okay, is my opponent over on the deer? Villagers here on the berries. Might lose 1 or 2. That's going to be at least 1 that's going to go down. LucifroN tries to body block. Not going to be in time, though. 1 villager will go down now on each side here.
Yeah, really close to being able to body block those Ghazi raiders away from his own villagers, but LucifroN does lose that 1. Wanted to do some return raiding, but sees absolutely 0 villagers on those berries due to that big sheep opening.
Behind this, LucifroN still has that 5 villager lead. Do always have to keep in mind that scout that Beasty produced at the beginning doesn't just take 20 seconds to produce, but 25 seconds. So it's more than just 1 villager that he's down there just from that. And overall, yeah, looking at the income, LucifroN, he's a solid like 200 resource per minute ahead right now. Still no sacred site has been contested, but I think Beasty is just about to try and get his first sacred site in.
Yeah, moving out, and not only moving out with the scholars, he's got his own little spearman battalion to defend on up, which makes it very difficult for LucifroN to contest. Yes, he does have his own archers, but they're a little bit slower, as you see, trying to get there in time. Horsemen have arrived, though. Dive on top of the scholar. Scholar healing on up and still able to stay alive before the rest of LucifroN's units get there.
Time. Ghazi Raiders in the wood line of LucifroN. Does he react to that? I'm not sure if he did. At the same time, there must also be a raid over on Beasty space, as another villager from Beasty did go down behind us, but Sacred Side is not going to get captured. Another villager goes down on both sides.
It does look like Ghazi Raider raid has been reacted to, but the scholar falling and Beasty losing that army in the middle. Look at the army numbers. You talked about LucifroN already being ahead as far as resource income per minute. They just traded 1 for 1 on the villager count. Beasty not able to grab the sacred sites and losing the military trade in the middle.
Beasty tried to harass LucifroN there with the raid as the fight in the middle was going on. Not getting too much value out of it though, and LucifroN is the one that's coming out ahead here.
Yeah, and look at the mix of LucifroN's military. He's got that 1-1-1 composition, and it makes it so hard for Beasty to be able to lean into 1 or 2 specific units. You just saw the double range drop. Beasty's trying to catch up in that archer count, but he's already starting at such a back foot.
So many units out right now. Looking at the army value, can't really tell too much from the army value though at the moment. Spearman also in position. Little raid from the Ghazi Raiders here. Not finding a lot of success. Body block coming in from the villagers as well. Oh, look at that. Beasty is attacking with 2 separate Ghazi groups, luring the Spearman away.
But LucifroN ready for it. Still has the 2 spearmen there, but probably going to send a few more units over that way to make sure that these villagers don't end up taking any more damage than they already have.
Lots of micro going on there. Beasty really trying his best in order to force LucifroN back there. Archer numbers now climbing on both sides. LucifroN still has a good lead when it comes to that. Not on gold at all, by the way, behind all of that. He's gotten all of his upgrades in, or at least all the important upgrades, and has then completely stopped gathering up any gold. Beasty also has a single Ghazi Raider patrolling on the deer. Another little raid coming in from the Ghazi Raider. Actually gets a villager kill there. I'm not sure. I think LucifroN might not have textiles in, so those villagers do die a little bit quicker than if they had textiles.
Yeah, I want to say that might have been a lower health one too from a previous raid as well. But either way, LucifroN, it looks like he has a game plan, and it is exactly what we would expect from him. He's knocking on the front door, Beasty. He wants to all in. He is playing this one out in Feudal Age.
Yeah, that's a lot of villagers that just idled out by a couple of the Ghazi Raiders. Beasty really doing a fantastic job here when it comes to just idling out his opponent every now and then, and a small fight is going to be happening here. Well, not really a small fight, that's the majority of the armies here from both sides. Spearmen are being focused down here by LucifroN. Lots of microing going on, focusing the individual units. Beasty doing the same thing, focusing down the Spearmen here. But LucifroN just with the army mass advantage, pushing it further in.
Yeah. Was able to snipe down every single spearman except for one and defend up the Ghazi Raider raids over on his side of the berries. So Beasty has to fall back from that location. LucifroN, though, stepped forward with a little bit too much, falling back again, and still just keeping his military mass grouped up and alive so much better.
This is such a big, like, just micro war here going on right now. Holy moly, LucifroN just being on fire right now, paying attention to all of these single individual raids that Beasty is trying to launch here, at the same time also microing in the fights. Really just peak performance here from LucifroN.
Yeah, and Beasty has been on those sheep this whole entire time. He hasn't been able to move out to the deer, hasn't been able to move out to the berries, and right when he was attempting to do so, good reaction by LucifroN again, but right when he was attempting to do so was when LucifroN was stepping up that way, and Beasty yet again moving out to the berries. LucifroN, I think, is looking to play that exact game plan and just deny the food.
Yeah, that could be it. Beasty going for another fight here in the middle. LucifroN, in theory, has numbers, though. And he's completely denying Beasty the ability to move out now. Beasty, who gathered a majority of the sheep here in this game, it's time now. It's time for him to move out on the map as well.
LucifroN easily able to move out to the next set of berries into his south side because he knows exactly where Beasty's main army is, and he's tracked the other Ghazis so well, cleans up that last smaller Ghazi Raider, and here comes the main fight. If LucifroN clears this up, Beasty's not going to have anything else to defend up in the base, has the mass as far as the horseman goes. Ghazi's having to run on away. There's still a few spears alive for LucifroN, but Beasty's sniping those down excellently. But is it going to be enough? Is it going to be in time?
Yeah, no Spearmen. Ghazi Raiders do provide a very good front line here. Horsemen, not quite as much, and it looks like LucifroN will have to respect this. He doesn't have the melee blacksmith upgrade here, so the Horsemen can't really take and nearly as good as a fight against the Ghazi Raiders as the Ghazi can. And yeah, he's falling back for the moment here. Archer numbers are starting to kind of equalize.
Yeah, you can't forget Beasty does have that Tower of Victory going for himself, so archers have that little bit of extra attack speed. LucifroN continually kiting back, but Delhi not having a sacred site at the 14 and a half minute mark is a huge victory. And all of a sudden now Beasty has no front line for his archers. LucifroN has 6 horsemen closing the gap. And where's Beasty's defenses? He has to run away now. Exactly, just flip the page on over.
Yeah, without the Ghazi Raiders, suddenly the Horsemen can take a fight. More Ghazi Raiders coming in though, reinforcements as we are getting closer to Beasty space will come in a little bit quicker. LucifroN is going to try and stall out a little bit once again, tries to take down the Ghazi Raiders and wants to fall back once again. No, actually does want to take the fight now. No more Ghazi Raider back up.
The numbers are just so close on either side. It's all about that reinforcing unit, reinforcing mass. And there we go. LucifroN has another set of archers, has another set of horsemen. I believe he's had a little group of spears at home just waiting for any split off Ghazi Raiders for raiding on his food.
Yeah, Beasty behind this economy. Starting to suddenly look a little bit better than LucifroN's. Guess there was a little bit of a migration going on when it comes to the food income. Yeah, the berries did get depleted there.
But again, Lucy held back like 4 or 5 spearmen, just kind of surprised Beasty as he oversteps, and Beasty just didn't quite have the defenses again, and trades still kind of going either side. It feels like LucifroN has the numbers, but Beasty just still taking good trades over and over again.
The Ghazi Raiders just being super tanky here. It takes quite a couple of these volleys, and when it comes to these volleys, Beasty does have the Tower of Victory, so the volleys are coming in a little bit sooner. A little bit faster from his archers. Means the cleanup on the horsemen. It's always going to be a little bit easier for Beasty. LucifroN, though, if he manages to somehow get the age up in sometime soon here, he will age up with Golden Age Tier 2, which means that all of his upgrades in Castle Age come in 50% quicker.
Yeah, he did have about 1,000 wood sitting in the bank, so a little bit of some missed macro. Beasty has finally been able to make his way out to those other food resources that LucifroN was doing so good at delaying him out on. Beasty able to take the berries, able to take the deer, and loses a scout over there from the archers.
He picked up the deer with professional scouts, want to move it just a little bit further away, be a little bit annoying to his opponent. But now both players have stable food income, at least for the time being. Single scholar now from Beasty is moving out. But if he loses this scholar, he won't have any more gold unless he moves out to a gold mine in order to replenish that scholar.
Yeah. Fortunately for him, though, LucifroN moving out with his horsemen on the southern side of the map, so is quite far away from being able to pick that scholar. LucifroN, though, looks like he's heading over to those berries, knows that Beasty is needing some food. It's been, like this, we talked about, this extended feudal age. So now these food resources have started to deplete a little bit.
Yeah, a little raid there, gets denied, but the 4 horsemen are still in. Both players right now just posturing with their archer army here. Still a good lead for LucifroN. Oh, villagers should at least be able to kill one. Maybe Textiles has come in for Beasty, as he does get it for free.
Doing some body blocking. We know how that horseman pathing is. Archers able to take down some Gazis, and some archers able to push away some of those horsemen. Sacred Site does get captured by Beasty, so gold trickle starting to come in. Ellie has a little bit of that boost in his economy, but just like you Crackety just said, age up about to come through for LucifroN.
Yeah, and it is going to be the advancement wing here that LucifroN clicks, so not just going to be a long time to age up. Instead, it's going to be coming in rather quickly. He's also still on gold, so will have the necessary resources in order to immediately click the veterancy upgrades upon aging up. And if the fight happens after the age up, those upgrades will come in super, super quickly. I feel like Beasty knows that he's on borrowed time right now. He needs to move out, actually trying to take the deer from his opponent there. So far, the archer numbers are still in favor of LucifroN. And if he's able to keep this archer ball alive with the age up, he's going to be looking in a super, super good shape here.
One Ghazi Raider able to just, again, cause a little bit of annoyance, but Beasty is about to start knocking on the front door. Age up is halfway through. LucifroN just needs to stall, just needs to give himself a little bit of extra time.
And it's really just a little bit. The advancement wing also means that the age up is going to happen a little bit faster than it usually would. You see, he wants to put everything right now into Ghazi Raiders, just mass Ghazi Raiders in queue right now. But if the veterancy comes in for the archers, if the +2 damage comes in for the archers, even the Ghazi Raiders won't save him.
Yeah, and there's 52 archers out for LucifroN. LucifroN, whole entire economy having to fall back away from that southern side. It looks like that's about 50 villagers, and he's got 65 total.
Just wants to make sure that nothing happens to those villagers right now. Just needs to bide his time. He still has a lot of resources in the bank. If he can just keep his economy, his military alive, and just, as I say, an age up is coming in. All the upgrades are being clicked at the same time. Horseman veterancy, +2 damage, veterancy for the archers as well. All those important upgrades with age 2. Rather, with the golden age tier 2. The power spike is going to be happening really quickly here.
Yeah, doing a great job trying to pull Beasty across the other side of the map. Still doesn't quite have those upgrades through. Getting pretty close, about 10-15 seconds away. LucifroN still continuing to fall back. Horseman in a flanking position on the sacred sites. And Beasty needs to be careful now that the upgrades are through. Ghazi circling, though. They're about to find a perfect raiding spot. That's like 5 villagers, if not more, that are going down on the wood line. Gold villagers having to pull back.
The gold villagers, they're taking out the shifts. Not sure if that's the correct plan, though. A couple of spearmen are coming to the rescue, though. Should be looking good. LucifroN, he's completely out of food. 0 food per minute. But does he have what he needs in order to win this veterancy? The upgrades have come in on the horseman as well. A couple of golems getting produced as well as very good meat shields now. And I don't think Beasty has the tools in order to stop this army. Right now, archer numbers are pretty much even. But the main benefit with these upgrades is on the side of LucifroN. Can he push it in now?
There's still a few spears there left to clear up those horsemen of LucifroN, so LucifroN needs to clean up the rest of those before diving onto the backside. Archer's just taking the fight, moving, waiting for the Gulags to come to the front lines, but LucifroN also needs to re-secure himself some food because no units are being made.
And you have to be a little bit careful here because, sure, both armies will overkill here by quite a bit, but Beasty, he does have the bonus attack speed. Slowly but surely though, LucifroN, as the armies do start to thin out, his veterancy upgrades are going to make a difference. Is it going to be enough though? Villager count is pretty much
there's the
equalized
Camel
here.
Rider. Camel Rider coming to the front line. That's going to be the big key difference. Beasty doesn't have anything to be able to clear that up at all. He has one Spearman out on the field, a few more in queue, but he's going to need a lot more than that.
Veterancy on the archers means that he's actually able to pretty much one-shot those Ghazi Raiders now. Still archer count. It's looking somewhat even here. LucifroN, he still has no food per minute now at all.
A Spearman does get on top of that Camel Rider. LucifroN wasn't able to snipe it down quick enough, wasn't paying attention, and still having to deal with Ghazi Raiders at home. This is it feels like a chaos map over here, but this is just the plain Jane Dry Arabia.
Archer numbers starting to thin out a little bit. LucifroN, he's starting to gather up a lot of wood. Could be looking for a farm transition sometime soon here. Beasty, though, looking at his resources, could soon follow up to the Castle Age.
Indeed, but LucifroN, he splits off a few units. I believe he's trying to find some of the spots where Beasty's gathering food, and that's exactly what he does. Denies the berries, denies the deer, and Beasty, he's going up, but I feel like he's going to be in the same position LucifroN found himself in just a few minutes ago.
And LucifroN, he started a little bit of a farm transition, and the fade jump gets found out. The Ghulams are on it. That's going to be more villagers going down now. Scholars are getting pulled out. Scholar healing is no joke, though. The DPS isn't quite there, potentially, but he's healing the wrong units. Ghulams were able to kill a few villagers, and now LucifroN, even though the villager count was even, he once again has taken the lead by quite a bit. Archers! He reacts. No. He reacts in time.
He sees it. This is going to be this could be game over.
One-shot. Not enough to one-shot, though.
But BC hasn't reacted. BC just reacts in time, but at this point, devastation has been made. Like I said, BC's going to find himself in the same position that LucifroN was at a few minutes ago, and all of a sudden, he's up 16 villagers.
Does he have the food economy for it, though? We see the first couple of farms have been placed. Beasty also still has a lot of wood in the bank. He's going for the deer in the middle. Not a lot of deer remaining there. These Ghazi Raider raids, like LucifroN, has just been on top of it the entire game. Suddenly, it still looks like a clean eco lead here right now for LucifroN. And the archer numbers are rebuilding up to 26 archers again. It's gonna take quite a while for Beasty to be able to catch up in the archer count department.
Yeah, and the fact that LucifroN's already been able to make, it's not a huge farm transition, but a smaller farm transition, it at least helps him out a little bit in the food regards. He's not having to, fully idle out villagers and military, able to resecure some deer. So LucifroN, he's able to sacrifice, the extra 15 villagers to produce some farms to give him that transition he needs.
It's a lot of villagers on gold right there. Could use an additional mining camp. Villagers gonna idle out a lot more villagers on the deer there from Beasty. We'll have to reassign them. Couple of farms are coming in for Beasty now as well. First keep, I think, has already been placed as well for him. So right now, it's just gonna be the typical Delhi keep boom that is coming in now. Will LucifroN have the tools that he needs in order to take down those keeps and finish off the game?
Though. Beasty, he's got an even bigger farm transition than LucifroN has. LucifroN's still letting him trickle in from that sacred side on the backside. Archers from that very beginning point have been found out, have been cleared up by Beasty's cavalry mass. And relics are starting to be snagged and secured, although not that one, as a Camel Rider takes down the Scholar.
Such an intense game so far. So much action going on. Archers once again checking to see if Beasty has started to collect from those deer once again. Military count still favoring LucifroN, but Beasty has started to add in some of his own knights as well. A couple crossbows in there as well, so will have answers to those Ghulams. But if LucifroN wants to fight, he's got to do it soon, because the veterancy upgrades are actually coming in soon, especially for the archers.
Yep, archers on the veterancy on the archers is actually going to be in the next couple seconds. Lancers and Archers crossbow mass. Beasty, he was planning on moving out, but is met with LucifroN's army knocking on the doorstep. Another Scholar falls, but Beasty has been able to secure one relic, whereas LucifroN, he is snagging up his third.
Yeah, the Dervishes just doing such a good job here right now when it comes to securing those relics. A lot of extra movement speed on them. Looks like there's another raiding force from Beasty going around the side right now, the edge of the map. And now with the Manjanique, has some siege in there as well. No siege so far from Beasty. Don't think he's got a siege workshop yet. And wood, he doesn't actually have the wood to get a siege workshop immediately and produce a siege unit at the same time. This might catch him at a little bit off guard here.
Yeah, he does have, I mean, crossbow mass isn't even in the double digits yet, so still might not be the easiest to clear up those armored units if the Manjanique's able to just get a decent shot onto the crossbows.
Production buildings are starting to get attacked. The keep has been spotted earlier by LucifroN, so he knows where that keep is. Mangonel shot hitting a lot of the villagers. They do have textiles though, so no villagers will go down there. And actually one villager went down.
LucifroN realizes Beasty's main TC has been completely left barren, just dives on top of it. Any villagers coming out are going to be killed. A lot of production basically going to be idled out as well. And Beasty's just waiting. He's sitting next to the keep. He knows he can't contest this. That's too big of an army. He doesn't have the right units. But LucifroN moves over a little bit more. Going to start hitting some of that farming eco. And Beasty, he's in trouble. He's trying to do some return raids. He always talks about it the way, you know, the best time to do some return raiding is when you are at your back foot. But he just loses a full set of villagers on farms.
Yeah, Springled is trying to move forward. Gets greeted though by the golems and the spears. Still more raids coming in, but LucifroN, he's on top of it, has the Camel Lancer there. He's going to be able to take care of that, not losing too many units there.
Yeah, LucifroN even taking out the Moss, going to go ahead and deny that one relic gold that Beasty's getting in as well.
The upgrade from the deli to make villagers from the keeps, not quite in yet, but will finish up within like the next 10-20 seconds-ish.
Yep, Compound of the Defender could be Beasty's chance. He has made an even bigger farm transition on the southern side of that keep, as LucifroN has just been sitting on top of the main TC. So we've just continued to see this eco just tilt further and further into LucifroN's favor. Main fight starting to go down. Springle.
It's not the choke point you want to be in.
Oh, Mangonel for Beasty gets a huge shot onto the range mass of LucifroN. Meanwhile, LucifroN's Manjanique has not been able to move up. Beasty using that Springled Warfare perfectly and just holding that Manjanique hostage.
Yeah, LucifroN, he's going to need some of his own Springles there. Walls are coming up at the very least for him. He's got 2 of the Sacred Sites, 4 of the Relics, a lot of passive gold income, sitting at 21k gold right now. 2100 gold right now. Yeah, that would be a lot.
Even still, 2100 for sitting in Castle Age is still an absolute ton of gold. And LucifroN, he's deciding to fall back, deciding to maybe regroup here for a second, but this is giving Beasty more time. Beasty's grabbing more stone, which means more keeps, which means more TCs, more villager production. The TCs, I mean by keeps, because of the Compounded Defender.
LucifroN, though, he is now starting to make his own Springles. 1 out, 2 out, 2 more in the queue. And that's really what it comes down to. You need to have the Springle advantage in these kind of siege-oriented games now. And we are entering that stage where it's all about getting that siege out and winning those siege warfares.
Yep. I saw Cal in the chat. He said 202 gold for food right now at the moment. So players have been buying food off the frame, just trying to lay that farm transition. And yeah, there was that time where we saw LucifroN with like 30 villagers on gold, and that's, I'm pretty sure, exactly what he was doing. Now, no need for
complete
that.
for both, yeah. And Golden Age tier 4 at the moment, is that the one? I think that's the one where Siege gets cheaper for the IU bits.
Yes, the last one is the one where what camels get 20% better,
more
faster.
Speed.
Yeah, faster.
Yeah, that's a lot less cost now. He's able to produce these Springles with a pretty hefty discount. Has to be careful though.
Mangonel shots for Beasty have just been perfect, but Springold's in the stealth forest. LucifroN using that stealth forest perfectly, has the Springold numbers, able to take the trades 1-for-1 on the Springolds, but Mangonel about to get taken down. And now LucifroN has free reins when it comes to the siege warfare. Manjanique step up. Beasty's trying to build a keep right there to the left side. The Manjaniques could just move to the left a little bit.
Oh, he's losing the Manjaniques.
LucifroN's front line. He doesn't have an army anymore. He has to fall back.
Yeah,
Beasty just won this fight.
Attacking the villagers there might have been a little bit of a mistake.
The Manjaniques also just stopped moving and stopped attacking. So after he won the siege war, they didn't do anything.
My god, this could be terrible now without the front line there anymore. He's making his own crossbows now, but the archer count, it's pretty even. But on top of that, Beasty, he still has like 20 crossbows now. The army count, it's just been building up. And this might be now a snowball effect right now.
And LucifroN, he keeps trickling units in and not building up his numbers like he should be. He's trying to rush down a keep, trying to stall up, bring a ton of villagers for this. He can sacrifice some villagers, but how many is it going to cost him?
It's going to be a lot right now. Beasty just keeps going in, keeps diving in deeper and deeper. And that's also a lot of the food villagers he's pulled.
LucifroN is starting to make horsemen, has 2,000 wood in the bank, 15 villagers inside that keep, but look at how many range units are still here for Beasty. He just doesn't even care. I mean, oh my gosh.
Actually, oh my god, no, he keeps diving further.
Beasty wins this.
Yeah, no, don't forget, like, he has the keeps, he's getting the village fortress in, so he's able to make a lot more villagers here to replenish than LucifroN is. Sure, LucifroN has the relics, he's got one sacred site now. Wait, no, 2 sacred sites, they switched around. But for how long? He's lost map control, so Beasty's now in position to retake those sacred sites.
I mean, we talked about it so many times. Beasty, when he's on the back foot, this is when he excels the best. Siege warfare, you know, he continually can make games that look absolutely over completely turn upside down, and now this looks like LucifroN has no way back in it.
Yeah, and the army from Beasty, the ranged army, it's looping around, it's going to the wood line. I don't see anything from LucifroN there. Is he going to lose more villagers there once again?
Good reaction from LucifroN. Whole wood line's moving, but he knows it. He throws in the towel and forfeits. What a comeback from Beasty.
Man, that felt like it was over, but no. Beasty clawing his way back with one decisive fight there.
That was an unbelievable game from Beasty. LucifroN was ahead for 15, 20, 25 minutes of that game. And then all of a sudden, one huge fight from Beasty. He's able to snowball it, able to force that whole entire massive army that he had left over into the economy of LucifroN and just turn the whole game upside down.
Yeah, I think it all just kind of went haywire when LucifroN pulled all of his entire backline in order to try and deny the keep. The keep was going to go up either way. Beasty just had way too many villagers there. But what that caused was LucifroN, he just lost his entire front line. Suddenly, with only his archers remaining, he wasn't able to hold off the military flood from Beasty. And after that, it just escalated.
Yeah, he also had 2 Manjaniques that sat there idled for like 30 seconds in that fight after he had taken down the Springolds and the Mangonels on the other side. So with that, I mean, all Beasty had was ranged at that point left. Even if they had both died and just gotten a couple shots off, the health of those remaining range units would have been much, much lower, if at all. So definitely a huge oversight there, and unbelievable testament to the way Beasty plays his games, the way that, you know, he just sticks in it. Because I think maybe 90% of the players I know probably would have forfeited at some point during that game.
Yeah, I agree. And next up, we got Holy Island and LucifroN. He's got access to the Ruse, and Beasty picking the Abbasid here. This kind of feels like a throwaway almost, considering Beasty has, he's got access to China, he's got access to Order of the Dragon. But does it make sense to like do throwaways here? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because you're gonna redraft.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, I feel like China was the pick here. But then obviously that still leaves you, if you get back around to the water, leaves you Order the Dragon for Archipelago. So I feel like you just kind of gave yourself a weaker civ, a weaker matchup for yourself. But maybe, you know, that's why Beasty, it's a 7-game series. He's got the bigger picture in mind, so he knows more than me when it comes to this.
It's gonna be the question. Maybe he's got a plan for Abyssot here. Maybe there is some shenanigans going on. We'll have to wait and see. Holy Island. I mean, Ruse on water maps in general, absolutely incredible. Or absolutely incredible. Like we've seen it time and time again. Just Ruse like hitting those timings, for example, where they age up at like 4 minutes. Like by 4 minutes, the age up finishes, and they already have a fishing ship on their side of the opponent and can immediately upgrade that ship. It can get kind of filthy there. An anonymous gifter coming in with the 25 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, huge shout out there. Always love the support coming in from the community, whichever way that comes through, whether it's the subs, viewers, all the different ways to end up supporting EGC.
Yeah, big shout out to you guys, the community, Surfshark, all the people involved in allowing us to bring you guys these amazing, amazing games here.
Yep. So now that we have the water map and the open maps kind of knocked out, that leaves us with Socotra and Four Lakes and Hill and Dale as the next, I guess, 3. Because didn't we say we have to go through all the realms before we can circle back into the open and the water again?
Yeah, so you have to at least play one of every single category here in order to revisit categories that have already been played. And Chill Button also coming in with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Yeah, so I feel like kind of looking at the civs and the maps left, do you have a favorite that you would kind of lean towards one or the other when it comes to overall with the civs?
When it comes to Civ, so after 4 games, I believe it was, we're gonna have a redraft. Currently, like just looking at Holy Island, I favor Ruse. I 100% favor Ruse. I think that kind of goes without saying. When it comes to Hill and Dale, I want to say Byzantines are pretty great there. On the other hand side, LucifroN still has Mongols open, which could be a very good answer, I feel like, against Byzantines. Like they can get them into some pretty uncomfortable positions, deny the berries early on. Yeah, just overall, I want to say like LucifroN's got a very, very solid civilization matchup here. Four Lakes as well with Japan. Very, very
And
good civ for Four Lakes.
yeah, I kind of expected the Japan versus either Abbasid or I guess China on the Four Lakes, but that's where Japan just having those cheaper fishing boats makes Four Lakes such a strong map for them in general.
All right. This is going to be a name that I'll butcher. Sidim TYSG. Thank you very much for an additional 5 gifted subs. And we're getting ready now for our game number 2. Can Beasty build on his lead, or will LucifroN equalize the series in the second game? We'll find out in just a couple of seconds.
Here we go. Sounds coming in. Game number 2 begins. Beasty with an unbelievable comeback, leading 1-0. He is playing the Abbasid Dynasty on Holy Island in the color teal against LucifroN in the color yellow, playing as the Ruse.
All right, let's see. Let's take a look at this map. With no Juji's Legacy, there aren't going to be any crazy meditation guns here, though. If I just look at the map there definitely would have been the option for some. Like, some of these resources, specifically next to that boar, next to the woodline, there's double stone, berries, and gold. That would have been a juicy meditation garden spot, I want to say.
Could you have gotten 4 stones in at 1 meditation gardens?
Oh, you could. You could have.
That's absolutely, yeah, definitely 3, potentially 4.
Maybe
if that gold
4,
was a little bit right where the gold was, you'd be able to get 4. But even still, that is
100
wild.
stone per minute. 100. Imagine, man. That's so insane. That is so insane potentially.
But nope. That there's a reason why we have been seeing that Civ banned more often. It was funny. They were strong for super long, then they got nerfed, and then they were like, yeah, this Civ's not going to be picked anymore. And then all of a sudden, it was like, yeah, hybrid maps though. You forget about hybrid maps. A lot of the water will like condense some of the resources, so you get some super strong meditation gardens. It also allows them to just get that extra resource trickle in to reinforce their water and kind of win out in that earlier feudal hybrids.
All right, both players so far. contesting around the deer. Wait, are we hearing another age up? I just heard an age up sound, but Beasty's already built the House of Wisdom. That would be weird. 2-minute age up, not realistic for a Basset here.
I definitely heard something. I don't know what it was. But fishing boats being produced, we won't get an age up that early. However, you can already see LucifroN. He's starting to get a good amount of food in the bank. With that roost, they're able to get just that super quick age up timing, get a very quick military ship across if they want to.
Yeah, and I believe the age up should be coming any second now for LucifroN. There it is. Has the resource now. Kremlin getting rushed up with 8 villagers. Other villagers going over to wood now. And I believe the first fishing ship should now be on its way to make the journey over to the other side of the map. And there we go. But Beasty, how many fishing ships does he even have? I don't think he has too many. Yeah, looking at his overall economy split, like he's got a lot of villagers right now sitting over on food. So the age up should be coming quick. And indeed only has those 3 fishing ships that would be able to seek shelter inside of the dock.
Yeah, knew this play was coming. I mean, it's exactly what you expect, but it's still one that if you're LucifroN, you're still making this play because of how strong it can be. It can just absolutely win you games. And Beasty has enough room in his dock for all 3 of those fishing boats.
Do you think it makes sense to like not even transform your ship until your opponent's age up now?
Honestly, yes. I feel like I mean
you still want to idle it out. I think yeah.
I guess you're idling 3 for the one of yours, but you're spending resources and you're losing out your own. So I mean, obviously there are the pros and the cons, but yeah, I think you still do transform it and make that forceful reaction.
Military wing. 1 minute remaining, and yeah, it looks like Beasty already preemptively pulled the fishing ships away. Wait, is there another dock? Oh, okay. Beasty tried to go for another sneak dock there. But now with the transformation, that's not gonna happen. Scout is gonna get to work on torching that.
Villager coming back.
Oh, he can
Villager?
just play around with it a little bit. You can play around with that a little bit. Like the more time Beasty invests into that, like the less resource he'll get out of it, right?
Oh, Scout getting pretty low, but LucifroN, I feel like is just like you said, he's playing this game here. He's just trying to bait Beasty into finishing this dock, to coming back with the Scout, thinking that he can end up winning this. But as I say that, Scout gets taken down, and LucifroN.
Oh my God, Beasty survives with that Scout. That, yeah. That
Caster
hurts.
curse.
That hurts.
It's just absolute caster curse. I just immediately eat my words. That being said, dock still has been denied, and LucifroN dropping another dock for himself. We've got a little bit of some dance moves coming out from that large fishing boat.
Oh, BC, you made too many fishing ships. Oh, he tried to go for another dock. Does LucifroN see that yet? That dock isn't finished. If LucifroN sees it.
The fishing boat brought him to the dock.
Oh, no, it's going to get denied. It's going to be close.
It denies. It denies. Oh my gosh. And now the fishing boat goes down. But BC sent another Vill up to that north dock. I think that one's getting close to finishing now. It is. Does the fishing boat get in time? Good dodge by Beasty. Oh, isn't able to dodge the second one. So loses a Vill and loses a fishing boat. Might not seem like much, but that's pretty big.
Yeah, now the ram is coming in. LucifroN, he doesn't have a scout. He's not going to see the units from the military wing making a ram. And with that, they're going to start taking down the dogs from LucifroN.
Yeah, and there's not an easy
tools to deal with that.
Oh, LucifroN has triple archery range, but even if he gets some archers out, yeah, they're going to be able to clear up the units from Beasty, but not clear up the ram too efficiently. Not without a couple maybe springled ships that come out quick. Even still, takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah, this still means that Beasty, he's not gonna at least be able to get his. To be fair, it's like a trade-off, right? Like Beasty, he's making a ram. LucifroN, he had to make the archer range and the archers now, so it's not like it really equates to any difference in units out on water. Actually, LucifroN, is he bringing? For a second, I thought he was bringing a fishing ship on top of that springer, but no, it's actually 2 springled ships that he has there already.
Archer ships circling around to Beasty's fishing, just causing some idle time. Beasty only has that 1 military ship because of the investment into the ram. Here comes the double springled ships. But now he is investing back on into that. Gremlins get called. has the 2 archers here as well. Will this be able to fully deny the ram? Demo ship comes out, fight on a couple different fronts. That archer ship needs to fall back away.
Oh, but the Bagla is pulling the movement speed. Oh, that's double demos. Oh my god, this could be devastating.
Oh! Snipes down the demo. Now can split the demo and just fall back away. What unbelievable micro from
only the Spanish
LucifroN.
brothers can pull off. That is something that only they can pull off. What the hell was that?
And takes down the galley and doesn't lose any of his sprinkle chips, but the dock does go down on his side. Militias are close to clearing up the ram and loses a sprinkle chip from the demo.
Only one though for 3 demo ships. That is absolutely worth it. Absolutely is.
And the ram falls down. The villager even comes help with the torch. I think if the villager had come from the beginning, that second dock might have even been close to being able to stay alive. Still, what a crazy start.
Yeah, these games so far, they've been absolutely action-packed from the beginning to the end. And now LucifroN, he's got the archers, right? Like, Beasty is going to have to invest into an outpost or at least some kind of units if he wants to hold that. Could drop a stable, get some horsemen out, but that doesn't really feel too good right now at this point in time. Like, you kind of want to be making more units on water, considering LucifroN, he was able to escape with a lot of his sprinkle chips there.
And more importantly, like, you know, LucifroN's going to go hit the gold, but then right behind the gold is Beasty's whole wood line too. And those archers could just rain havoc on all the... Oh, I was about to say mill, using that mill for wheelbarrow now. But yeah, there's nothing here to defend this. And once he's, I mean, he doesn't have the wood to be able to drop a range. He's going to have to fall back way further away from this. One villager will go down, but more importantly, the idle time that this is going to cause is going to be devastating. And there it is. He's got to quick build the outpost.
LucifroN has the archers there. Beasty is microing back some of those villagers. Oh, LucifroN, he's focusing another one with every single volley. Makes it very difficult for Beasty to micro this away. And yeah, he's losing a lot of villagers here for this. A lot of idle time as well. Outpost, though, will get rushed up at the very least. And LucifroN, he's going to be forced to walk all the way around BC space if he wants to continue with the pressure. But now there he is on water as well with a big ship lead.
A huge ship lead, and Beasty, he invested so much into kind of that earlier play, but also you can't forget about the damage LucifroN caused early. There were 2 economic units that Beasty lost very early on that really feels like it could be the difference in this fight. LucifroN up a couple extra military ships from it.
Gets spotted.
The flanking demo gets spotted out. LucifroN able to take it down. That felt like that was a huge hope from Beasty, and LucifroN has a huge amount of demos himself. Is that 4, 5, 6 demo ships for LucifroN?
And GG gets called. LucifroN winning the land, winning the water. There is no doubt in my mind that these Spanish brothers are by far the best players when it comes to these water maps.
Wow. Yep. I mean, in the whole entire kind of pre-game talk, we said how strong the Spanish bros are when it comes to water, when it comes to the hybrids, when it comes to micro, because we saw that unbelievable micro play from LucifroN where it felt like he was going to lose all of his sprinkle chips, and instead he kept all his sprinkle chips alive and ended up taking down a galley for it.
Exactly, man. That was actually such unbelievable micro. When that demo ship went down without even connecting, that was such a clutch moment there for those sprinkle ships. They were supposed to both go down. In the end, 3 demo ships for just a single sprinkle ships, not worth it.
Yep. Unbelievable second game.
Yeah, and we're only 2 in. And I've got a feeling, boys, this one is going to deliver. We've got to dissect those first 2, though, because absolutely wild, right? You know, quickly just highlight on that LucifroN one, just to back you boys up on this. This guy is the absolute goat of war. We even had Marine Lord saying it in the chat. He's like, yeah, if I have to go up against him, fearful for a reason. That was incredible, though. I really want to go back to that initial fight, Crackty, at the beginning of the Tech Cup, right? With the demo split there. You mentioned it yourself. There's only maybe 2 players in the entire game that can pull that off, because that is the type of play that breaks a player like Beasty out against, I'd say, 90% of the other pro players in the scene.
Yeah, it is such a clutch thing to pull off in those situations, right? Like, Water micro for many players, I want to say, is something that is very, very difficult, not something that is practiced nearly as often for most players as it is for LucifroN and Vortex. They just excel on a whole nother level, I want to say, when it comes to those water fights. I want to say that, like, after LucifroN and Vortex, probably the next players to come in mind would probably be like Puppy Paw or Anaton that come to mind when it comes to like the water micro. But LucifroN and Vortex just the undisputed kings on water.
Yeah, I think like people like Anatan, like you mentioned there, they come to mind more as I like to say Anatan, he has this quirky chaos about the way he engages, but individually, boat to boat, you don't really get much better than the Spaniards. And what a way to recover this as well, Dabston. That game one, it looked like it was in the bag. We need to talk about that one because the first 20 minutes of the game, by the end of that, you're like, okay, IBIS GG, easy win. For that to have turned around the way it did, but for LucifroN to then come into this second game, that has to speak volumes to the mental fortitude to reset after what must have been a catastrophic loss in the opening game.
Yeah, you got to have a very, very short memory when you're at this high level. You play one game and you immediately forget about it, whether it was a great win or whether it was a big throw. And whether you call that first game a big throw or whether you call it just an unbelievable hold by Beasty, there was this time where I think if you took a snapshot, LucifroN had about 60 units surrounding Beasty's TC. Beasty didn't have compounded the defender up, had one keep, and didn't really have much looking for himself. 5 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, and it's the exact opposite.
Now, you mentioned a short memory, but we can't have too short of memory because someone we've got to keep in mind here, Crackety. I think you highlighted about the weirdness that a Bassett pick is after the fourth game, we should be seeing a redraft here. Is there something in your mind that speaks to why Beastie would have thrown the Bastards out there? Was it a case of nothing better against the Roos, right? Is the Roos that good on Holy Island?
I think he wanted either he's had a plan, but I think more than him having a plan, I think he wanted to make the game chaotic. He wanted to turn the game into something that LucifroN isn't familiar with and just try and play it in a weird way that he knows that he can adapt better in. And I think it just didn't quite work out there.
Yeah, I was curious because I know I'd seen Beastie on stream. He's practicing Bastards a lot on Archipelago, so I thought maybe this was a hybridization of that. But, speaking of the chaos that comes ahead of us, Socotra is still on the horizon. That could potentially happen in game 4. But before we get there, I mean, LucifroN, I'd say he has a very succinct draft here, Dabston. Like, a lot of it kind of makes sense to me. You've always got the Japanese. If Four Lakes comes up, you've got Mongols here on Hill and Dale that I think LucifroN is the player with the most success with in this tournament, that Civ. And then he still has the other top-tier pick for Socotra later on if that comes in the form of the Marlians.
Yeah, I mean, it is one that it gives you a lot of transparency when you're coming from Beastie's side, where you just said it. We know exactly what we expect here of these next couple maps. Actually, even before Hill and Dale, I asked Crackety, I said, what do we expect next? And he said, probably Byzantines versus Mongols on Hill and Dale. And sure enough, what do we get? It's Byzantines versus Mongols on Hill and Dale, and for good reason. I mean, we know what to expect. There's stronger civs on certain maps for a reason, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be an exciting game. That doesn't mean that, Beastie is on the back foot here because LucifroN got a little bit of an edge when it comes to the Civ here.
Yeah, honestly, the way that LucifroN has been playing this, with the way that he's historically played Mongols, I could see this working out. I mean, Crackety, I think we can agree Byzantines feel a little bit potentially busted here. Hill and Dale is one of those maps that fits. But we always have to keep it in the back of our mind, right? We've been talking about Surfshark a lot for the last 2 tournaments. I'm thinking LucifroN and Vortex have been grinding more than we realized. They have been practicing these matchups. It's just we thought they were a Frenchman or a German or someone else because they've been using those VPN services. But, just your quick thoughts here because you're going to get to dissect it fully. Are you full Byzantine fanboy in this one, or do the Mongols have a way?
I think Mongols, especially in the hands of LucifroN, do have a way. It depends a lot on the spawn, but if, for example, the barriers are forward, LucifroN can definitely have the tools in his hand in order to bring Beastie in a very, very dicey position there early on in the game.
Well, that's the way he likes to play it, right? LucifroN looking dominant in the early and the mid game. That is the story, the narrative so far. If we get too deep, it's all Beastie, baby. But if LucifroN could turn those screws and turn the heat up in the kitchen, he can cook it before the King of Defense gets online.
And here we are, game number 3, Beastie on the Byzantines in the color teal, LucifroN on the color yellow, playing as the Mongols, and it is the forward berry spawn from Beastie's side.
not just forward berries, but forward gold as well. And LucifroN,
He immediately scouts it.
spots it. Yeah, okay. This is gonna be, of course, like, how would you not outpost rush in this one? Something that's unfortunate here for LucifroN is just how far back his stone is, right? So the spearmen, they're gonna have to walk an extra mile, but still, absolutely worth it.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we can get differently as far as map spawns when it comes to Hill and Dale is where the market locations are at times. And as far as the market spot for LucifroN, really solid. It's over in the corner, and he almost has like this set of walls from the tree line. So even though you can't build walls, he almost has his little set of natural walls.
Imagine if in the current meta, Mongols were able to build palisades walls. I don't even want to think about it. And look at that, LucifroN using the Gur here in order to lure the deer under his TC.
Hey, if you got the micro to do it, you might as well do it. And that's exactly what LucifroN is going to end up doing here. Makes his life quite easy. Doesn't have to worry about, sheep for quite some time, even though obviously Khan has a few sheep, but the Khan's main goal was to give himself the vision of Beasty side.
Yeah. Giving over a couple of sheep, though, definitely doesn't feel too good here. Byzantines, when they don't have to move out, can be a little bit troublesome. Beasty, gonna be the first one to age up now. Grand Winery is gonna be on its way. Question is, how does he place it? Because I feel like if the timing is just right, I don't think it will be. But if LucifroN gets the, could this be denied potentially? Like if the units,
no. Because the outpost, Beasty can still, the outpost wouldn't be able to get, exactly.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's still not a fun spot for Beasty to have. Grand Winery will essentially not quite get fully denied, but just get delayed for quite some time. Even that, olive grove next to it is going to be closed once the outpost gets upgraded.
Mining camp, if it goes down, that's good. Just in time.
Yeah, I mean, Beasty was ready. We shouldn't even have questioned it. He knew.
That's why you go forward with the Khan first, right? Like you want to attack it from out of sight.
Mm-hmm. A few more sheep getting gathered in. Next set of spears are arriving, and you know that it's a really good tower rush. Like you don't care too much when you build 4 spears. You really want to get this location set. When you build, you invest even further into it, and that's where he's made a total of 6.
I think you want to have like 5 inside the outpost and then another one on the next berry spot. Khan is going to start to tank up. Movement speed arrow comes in. He's going to have to back off. Doesn't want to lose any of these.
Just good job knowing the distance. He tanked it up just enough. One of the spearmen went to about half health.
Outposts? He's still in wood. He might be going for double outposts here.
I mean, where would you say the other one? Just circle around the... Would you say deer, or would you say like wood line?
I want to say like with Limitané in the game, double down potentially on your outpost. Just another one
double
right
down
next
on Okay, I get that too. Not leaving the first one too vulnerable to the typical textiles pull.
Exactly. Like if BC just pulls like Agritoy textiles and a couple of Limitané, if there's a second outpost, it's gonna be much more deadly. Silver Tree coming in now for LucifroN as well. Villager might actually be doing the loop around, right? Like he is gonna get the wood for it.
Let's see. Yeah, it looks like he's heading on home.
Yeah, I think maybe... No, he does have the +100. Okay, now I'm a little bit confused. Maybe he's just going to save it for...
Oh, he turned back around. He turned back around.
There he goes. All right. I was going to say... yeah, I think this is just really good to, like... Yeah, like, so you have the 1 outpost and then, like, double emplacements there. It's going to make it very hard, even for Limitané, to be able to just torch it down. And Limitané, like Mass Limitané, is exactly what BC's doing. Scout comes around, though. Outpost gets deleted. LucifroN's heading home. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to go for it after all.
I think he's wanting to drop his stables at home instead with that wood.
Stables against Limitané immediately? Doesn't feel too good. I want to say... Oh, it is a stable. Okay. Interesting.
I feel like this is one of those
that... He's making archers.
I did not expect the archers to be made, but I think this is one that I was going to say that LucifroN just wants the mobility. He wants the map control, being able to run on around, circling out and about. So it's one he hits feudal. He gets to start using the gold income from trade once it starts and get some Keshiks out on the field.
All right, there we go. And placement is going to be coming in. There's a single teal spot. Okay, never mind. That's a scout. For a second, I thought the scout was somewhere else. Spearman upgrade also coming in.
And here come the units. Looks like Beasty's diving on forward. Wants to try to get it before the upgrade comes through.
It's gonna be close. Akratoy, though, they're not pulling the torches. That's actually a classic blunder. A little bit, at least. They're not doing that much damage here. And BC realizes, wait,
one of the
they're
vills
using
goes down.
spears or torches.
Oh no, one of the vills goes down there.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
one
two.
of the classic blunders.
I think 2 of them ended up going down.
They did. Yeah, 2 go down. And that's actually not a mechanic that a lot of people know about. When you use Akratoy defense, calm down.
GG's.
GG. Yeah, if you use Akratoy defenses, the villagers don't pull the torches anymore. They use spears in order to take down buildings, and they don't do a lot of damage against them.
We have Marine Lord in the chat. Not gonna lie, I didn't know that. So yes,
It's a very niche thing.
and now everyone in the chat knows that. So we appreciate the learning process here.
PSA. But yeah, 2 villagers, and look at that, LucifroN. I think he's already got a couple of traders out. Maybe he double produced the first batch, but right now he's 4 to 5 economic units ahead.
Yeah, and BC having to drop that outpost knows how important getting a little bit of a front line, getting some vision drawn for himself is. My big question is that the Khan got killed. Those are Keshik circling around the backside of BC's base.
Yeah, BC scouting out the silver tree now. He's probably just gonna put a scout on attack move against that one. So try and block that one out. So Keshiks will have to come in order to stop that.
Hit. I think gold's getting hit. 1 vill down, 2 vills down, 3 vills down, 2 vills down.
Oh my god. BC didn't react. Yeah, lost 2 villagers there.
Yeah. That's where, Keshik raid circling was just perfect timing. LucifroN pulled the army mass of Beasty. When he saw Beasty have all of the army push forward from the few units, then he just said, all right, great. I'll just circle around. Your gold's free.
Keshiks once again. Archers alert them though, so they won't get picked to death by the Limit. Keshiks also coming in to help place the silver tree in the corner, I believe. Yeah, Scout will have to retreat. Silver tree now going up, and LucifroN, similar to game 1, early game, huge lead.
Yeah, it's looking like a pretty solid beginning opening point for him. Mongols does have that kind of leg up, starting to invest into his economy. But Beasty, production is starting to ramp up. We know how Byzantines are. It doesn't quite have that olive oil income going yet, but if that starts going, it's going to get crazy because first set of longbows are being produced.
Yeah, longbows, they can be quite vicious there. I wonder if we're gonna see, actually something that is pretty strong here in this matchup would be the upgrade to the Whistling Blow, Whistling Arrow, not Whistling Bro, the Whistling Arrow upgrade for the Khan to make it last a lot longer. Because then you can, for the duration of an entire fight, either increase the movement speed of your units or increase the attack speed of your ranged units. Movement speed would probably be my choice here against the longbows, so you don't get kited as much.
And I love what LucifroN's doing right now. He took down the scout at Beasty, so he knows Beasty has 0 vision of his base. So he's making archers, but he's not moving out with them. He's going to wait until he has a significant mass, then move forward with it, and then kind of just take the fight when Beasty hopefully has the bad unit composition that LucifroN, has favored, but going to be patient and wait until then.
Keshik numbers building. Lots of archers out as well. The issue here right now for LucifroN is, though, that the kind of military growth from the Byzantines, it's rather explosive. It is rather explosive here. Already, first 5 longbows out. Next set of 5 longbows is going to be on its way as well. And LucifroN, he's going to have to really dig in deep in order to be able to keep up with the archers there.
Yep, he doesn't quite have that same productability. I mean, I guess he could double produce every now and then with the stone he gets, but doesn't even have the ranges on the stone. And Beasty just slowly trying to make his way out on the map a little bit, keeping his army together and you know, grouped on up.
Set of Lombos should be popping out any second now. BC's already got the military lead. That's just gonna further get increased. Like, as long as the Limitna there with the shield wall, I don't think like LucifroN's gonna be in a great position to take any fights. Those Limitna, they really hit hard when it comes to just against the cavalry, but also when it comes to being a shield, meat shield against those ranged units.
Yeah, and this is the point where Beasty, he's gotten his mass forward, and LucifroN, he's going to cut off any of the reinforcing units. Going to continue to produce at home and try to not let any units group back up with the mass together, and then take the fight when he can. And Beasty, he already spots that out. The 5 longbows get denied, and he has to pull back. Doesn't want that to end up happening.
Beasty behind this gets a lot of villagers on gold. I don't think it's all just for blacksmith upgrades. I think Beasty might be eyeing with the idea of potentially going up within the next 3 or 4 minutes, I want to say.
And does have a lot on gold. Did just move a significant amount of villagers, I think, off of wood onto the backside berries. So I do think he is wanting to get that age up.
Fight might be happening soon here. I'm not quite sure, though, if that is one that LucifroN can really take right now. How many archers do you need in order to one-shot a Limitna with shield wall up? It's probably a lot, I want to say. I'm guessing like 15, 16-ish, maybe even more. We'll see in just a little bit.
Look like Beasty, he's moving forward. He wants to take this fight. Keshik circling back around. Still nothing yet. LucifroN has to pull off the gold. One of the traders about to get taken down from just one of the limited. Oh, actually.
Limitna is low, but the rest of the army's coming in. Trader gets taken down. Now fight is coming in.
And LucifroN, he's going for the fight. Archer's taking down the Limitane. Shield wall has been utilized, I think, but they're still getting taken down rather quickly. And there are so many Keshiks here. BC, he doesn't have enough to clear this up. His whole entire army gets cleared.
Yeah, they got just taken down so quickly there. Keshiks also chasing the longbows. There's not too many though. Longbows, they do a lot of damage here. Might actually be able to clean up those Keshiks, but reinforcements from the main fight coming in quickly now as well. Beasty might just want to cut his losses, kill at least one more trader there. There he goes. At least one more trader is going to go down. Might actually get the villager there if he peeks too far. LucifroN though with the micro has that villager turned back around, and now all those longbows do go down. These are not units that you can easily replace. And I think, yeah, looking at the resources, Beasty, he's not like going away from his main game plan of going up to Castle Age. No, he's committing to it.
Yeah, that just it feels like a weird play that you're like almost all inning, but also saving resources to go up. I feel like that was almost like a little bit of an oversight where you either reinforce your all in or you just cut your losses, you bring your army back, you go castle, and you get your age upgrades, and then you get your timing.
Does Beasty have enough to defend now against this incoming Mongol mass here? Age up coming in very soon, but I think the aggression is going to start before the age up starts.
Yeah, 11 Keshiks too. They can end up breaking down those walls so fast, and I mean,
Battle rams.
This will stall out the age up or stall out the aggression a little bit, but it's going to have so much more with it now with 2 rams. That means LucifroN's military mass can focus on villagers, can focus on denying economy, and let the rams just take down everything in their path. Going castle, do you think Varangian guards are going to be able to help hold this push with that many Keshiks out?
The Keshiks, they're definitely going to be the playmakers here if they're able to stay alive against this mass of Limitna. Double rams now coming in as well. LucifroN's going to have to make sure to protect the rams. I think you don't really need to start attacking the gate. I think it's better to just attack the wall. Makes it a little bit harder for BC to get on top of the rams. Upgrade on the outpost coming in just in time. But now with the age up only just now happening, villagers
running towards, oh no, ran towards the outpost. They won't be gathering resources for quite some time. And the Rams, they immediately hit the olive grove. You can't forget this is Mongols. Every single farm that gets taken down is just resources in the bank for LucifroN. So we're about to start seeing that bounty come on in. We're going to see more villagers get taken down. And Beasty, we saw him come back from the depths in game number 1. Can he do it again in game number 3?
Behind this, LucifroN still making more Kashix. Beasty, at least, he's moved outside of his wall.
There's an extra 100 resources.
Oh, that's so many. Yeah, that's a lot of resources that LucifroN's getting in. Oh, wall got rebuilt. First Varangian got taken down. Most of Beasty's economy is either on the wood or on the deer. Beasty was able to take down a lot of the Kashix here.
Yeah, there's still 37 units, though, in the base of Beasties. Mainly archers, though. There's 5 more villagers in this outpost, so once the outpost falls, that will be 5 more economic units down the drain. And then the biggest thing you can't forget about is LucifroN is trade booming behind this.
Yeah, 10 traders out so far. First
And there's the villagers pop out.
Should be coming out soon from the landmark. Yeah, more
Another
villagers
olive
going down
grove getting
here.
built. LucifroN's going to say thank you for that olive grove. Thank you for some more resources, more villagers falling. And, you know, I say Beasty doesn't forfeit a lot, but this is the point where I think throwing in the towel, throwing in the surrender wouldn't be too big of a deal here as LucifroN. It's going to be hard to throw this one.
Yeah, definitely. He's looking to be in a very good spot right now. More Kashix coming in now as well. It's another olive grove going down. Beasty, he's got a lot of food in the bank, but no gold at all. The gold access just completely deprived for him. Has villagers that could potentially move out to a large gold vein there on the east side. But that is then once again something that LucifroN, if he finds it, that's just going to be more villagers going down.
Yep, had a few more longbows pop out, but longbows are not really the unit he needs. Easily taken out by those Kashix, easily sniped down by those archers, and just more and more bounty going to be coming in from that ram.
LucifroN already gotten so much bounty behind this, up on 12 traders right now. Economy lead through the roof, 41 to 69. Nice economy units right now. Beasty, he needs that gold.
Villagers come back on the gold.
That has to be it, right? It's so many villagers.
That's gotta be it.
Textiles. But
He's sending more out as he's running away with others. He's like, please be a distraction. I need the gold. He's down to 37 economic units and still falling.
More units running across the map. Varangian guards somewhat building in the army count department. The Kashix are coming in again. Now also double produced yet again. Archers on the longbows. Kashix on the Varangians. Not quite the matchup Beasty was hoping for. Now villagers, once again, one gets picked off. It just keeps falling and falling. Meanwhile, LucifroN's economy keeps growing and growing. At this point, Beasty, 1.4k resources, at least food, in the bank. It's just the gold. It's just the gold. And I think he's actually selling resources in order to get more gold in. Yeah, he just sold a little bit of food. More food being sold right now just in order to be able to upgrade his longbows. He's only got 3 on the field.
Another ram coming in for LucifroN. Cisterns being focused. Once LucifroN gets onto the production, that is when I think Beasty will finally throw in the towel.
Couple of forward traders. Another ram gets built. More Kashix now coming in, up to 9 Kashix again. Dive on the TC can just continue. Veterancy at least has come in for longbows. Not a lot of them out on the field though. Just 3 immediately gets reduced down to 2. More longbows falling now as the archers close in.
Cistern falling yet again.
In the TC.
5 more longbows pop out, and 5 more longbows will be going down.
And all the landmarks here are exposed as well, so it's not like Beasty can hold this out forever and just pray that he can somehow get LucifroN out of his base. No, LucifroN's there to say he's just gonna stick it in the base of Beasty. More bounties getting collected. Another olive grove almost gets taken down.
And the deer finally run out in the north side. Is that what calls it for Beasty? He spots the 8k gold though. He's got gold now secured for himself. He's got 1,200 food in the bank, but finally throws it in. LucifroN up 2-1 with a solid showing here so far today.
Yeah, Mongols versus Byzantines. It's like one of those matchups where the Mongol kind of chaos factor can come into play, and that's exactly what happened here. Beasty, forward gold, forward berries, the least ideal spawn possible for him in this matchup, and LucifroN making perfect use of that and just pressuring non-stop. that one overstep there from Beasty, I think, was key there to LucifroN being able to run it into the base from Beasty.
Yeah, it just feels so bad when you're making that Castle Age play, and at the same time you're going up or about to go up, you also throw away your whole army. You can see it from the graph. The big dive happens, and then BC ages up, and it's like, uh-oh. You spent 1,800 resources on the age up, and you just threw away all your army, so you don't have much to defend on up. And LucifroN able to punish it, able to close that one out. More importantly, and now going into game number 4, Beasty, he's going to want to try to tie this one up. And it's a matchup that I think once again, we basically kind of could have guessed with the civilization choices. It's going to be Japan versus China on 4 lakes.
Yeah, and I think we kind of expected China and Abbasid to be like switched around when it comes to the overall Civ draft here. Picking Abbasid on Holy Island definitely was a little bit of a curveball. Maybe with the draft, like China versus Japan could also be a little bit of a curveball. Questions, how well is it ultimately gonna go now for BC? China, definitely, I want to say, like one of his strongest civilizations, one that kind of like suits his playstyle. You know, you get the nest of bees out, you get a couple of choke points in, you push out at a crucial point in time, you get the keeps that are stronger in some situations, weaker in other situations for China. Definitely stronger when it comes to the build speed. And yeah, I want to say like China, they got the process right. Like China has a kind of like process where if they get into like a good and comfortable position in the game, when they get like their siege out, when they're able to be the aggressor, they're definitely going to be in a good spot. Japan, though, on water on these kind of hybrid maps, they've been looking really, really good as well. And I want to say like Japan, they have been looking very, very bad so far when it comes to like the pure water maps. When it goes to Imperial Age, suddenly Japan kind of we ignored the Takabuna. Japan just doesn't have an Imperial Age presence on water. But on 4 lakes, that's not really that important because you have like all these individual opponents that you fight over, and that's where Japan like really shines. I want to say.
Yeah, and it's hard to kind of focus on all the different lakes at the same time. And so that allows Japan to kind of boom on up onto 1 to 2 different ones, have multiple docks in. We've seen a lot of different kind of variations of gameplay throughout the versions of 4 lakes and through the different tournament structures, whether it's walling off all your ponds to where no, docks can be dropped on in, or whether it's kind of just going in for that full expansion onto the ground as well, kind of just utilizing all that fish eco. But it's one that definitely the, what is it, 40, is it 40 food or 40 wood per fishing boat for Japan?
Yeah, 45 wood.
Yeah, so with that eco difference as far as how much it costs, and the travel time's a little bit further, so you having more fishing boats out is definitely more important here.
Yeah, I want to agree. I think overall, I'm just looking at this and I think, okay, when I'm looking at China here, there are certain timings that are going to happen in this game. Like, no doubt, these are timings that you cannot avoid against Japan that are going to happen once Japan like reaches that castle age, once the aggression starts coming in, once the like mass of mounted samurai or even normal samurai come in. There are these points in the game that China can find themselves struggling with, like trying to follow up with the age up war, even trying to like attack on multiple pawns at the same time. This is going to be difficult. Like, I feel like if Beastie lives through like 2 or 3 timings, he's going to be favored here. 2 or 3 timings, like late feudal age, I want to say early castle age. If he lives through those timings, he can be fine. I think China in those situations can be fine. Can even be like a little bit in the lead when it comes to like late castle age, early imperial, mid imperial. That's where I see China like really, really winning this one. The early part is going to be the problem. If BC can survive the early part, I think he'll be fine. If LucifroN can win it in the early part, then obviously he's going to win it.
Well, if there is one player that is known for making those holds time and time again, it is Beastie. But LucifroN, he's no slouch, especially when it comes to those early timing attacks. Seeing early rams get dropped, early aggression, that is right in his wheelhouse, as well as hybrid maps, water maps. So we're kind of leaning into a couple different kind of aspects that that is LucifroN's gameplay, that kind of right in his wheelhouse. So if you're jumping into this one, do you think Beasty's going to tie up the series here, going into leading us into the game number 5, or do you think LucifroN's going to be able to get another leg up?
I see China, I see Beasty. I want to say anything can happen. I want to slightly favor LucifroN when it comes to the matchup, but when it comes to just the potential with the civilizations, I want to give it to Beasty. So we'll have to see if Beasty will manage to equalize the set now in game number 4, if LucifroN can build on that advantage and push all the way through to match point.
Yep, still got a minute left on the prediction. Got about 1 million EGC points bet so far, and so keep those bets coming in. Got a couple big betters as well with the 250K bet from Goalie Deckel over there from LucifroN.
Yeah, it's a lot of points that are coming in here right now, and I love the community participation there with the points, like just betting on who they think will make it. And it's a little bit of like, you can be like, oh, I got so many points, it's because I'm always right. I always like do the right decisions. I got the macro brain behind it. But ever so often we do see like even matchups where one civilization is obviously like just favored overall, like in game number 1 with the Ibits versus Delhi. Curveballs can come in. Suddenly the game gets a little bit chaotic, and the matchup might not go the way that you expect.
Yeah. So will you be making some money or points, or will it get thrown all down the drain? We're about to be jumping into game number 4. Series has been as close as could be.
And here we go. Game number 4, LucifroN versus Beasty. Color yellow versus the color teal once again. I gotta say, like, teal and China, that hits home. That hits home. Like the combination of colors and civs here. That's where I feel at home. Like just playing China in the color teal, you get all that bonus line of sight on your scout. You just run around, you collect the sheep. You feel good. You feel good. It's a good game to play.
Yeah, there's a couple civs that I feel like do just have their matching colors that naturally they kind of just get paired with. I always think Byzantines with purple as well. There's a couple others that come to mind. But obviously that's where Beasty going with that opening. Both players going with their early docks on those pawns.
What was Juji called again at one point? Something with Jade, I want to say. So like having teal.
Oh yeah,
in its name.
it was like Jade. It was like Jade Dragon Dynasty or something.
Jade, yeah, I think production just said Jade Empire. I'm not sure what exactly the name was, but it's all teal, right? Like it's all teal. Though you could probably debate if Jade is green, tealish.
Yeah,
there's probably some color expert that could correct us on that, but definitely a fitting color for the civilization.
Anyways, checking in on these spawns, obviously, it's all about getting to the water as fast as you can, getting some fishing boats out, and fortunately for the water, all the 4 corners, the fish is very generic in those same little corners.
Are we gonna be seeing like the typical fast age up here from the Japanese? Kind of feels like it, right? Got five villagers on food, on wood so far. All the rest are over on food. I wouldn't be surprised if LucifroN pulls all 5 villagers off to gold sometime soon, and just rush that age up in as quickly as possible.
It looks like LucifroN's villager already starting to make the second dock on his own pond. So is investing even heavier into
Oh,
okay.
That's a house. Yeah, okay.
A little bit of some macro play there.
Yeah,
it's a house. Maybe he's actually. I think he's going to make the trek and go for a dock on the opposite side.
Makes sense, right? Like you just fish a little bit over there. Now you inch yourself closer and closer. But yeah, LucifroN and Vortex definitely the players that I would say typically go for that counter dock on the opponent's pond.
Can't forget that house gives him that shoreline fish access, which is some of that faster gathering in the game. So gave you kind of that dual-fledged approach for Japan. Another reason why they are strong on these hybrid maps.
Exactly. So far, fishing count overall looks pretty even. LucifroN leading with 1 here. BC, though, should be able to catch up. Chinese stocks, they do produce a little bit faster. Japanese stocks, though, the fishing ships are just way, way cheaper. And we can see that manifest right now. Just LucifroN only having 6 villagers, like 5 to 6 villagers on wood. Meanwhile, Beasty committing a lot more villagers onto wood. Asia is going to be coming in a lot quicker. And when I look at like LucifroN Vortex on water maps, they always pick the Coca Township.
Yeah. And then you can't ever forget about Beasty having that IO as well to kind of boost up that economy that he has. Supervision as well as grabbing taxes. Just as you mentioned, Coca Township on the way. 8 villagers on that. So wants to get it up very, very quickly.
Yeah, second dock also coming in now for Beast on that pond. You kind of do need that when you're up against the Japanese with their shinobis coming in. If you don't go for a second dock, it's gonna be 2 shinobis. That'll be enough to completely idle out your dock. If you go for 2 docks, suddenly your opponent's gonna need 4 shinobis and a lot of micro to idle those out. Villager already on its way as well for LucifroN, gonna make its way over to the pond here from Beasty, where he has all of his fishing ships in. Imperial Academy now also coming in, 5 villagers on that. Bonus building speed as well for China. So it shouldn't be like a big difference here in the age of timing. Probably like 30-ish seconds. LucifroN gets spotted though.
Doc still gets dropped. Doc still will get finished. But Beasty has all of the knowledge, all of the information that he needs.
Yeah, that's going to go up. Villager, he's running, right? But it's going to take him a while, and Beasty realizes, yeah, that is not a dock that I'll be able to deny. And now the aggression, it's going to be on Beasty's side of the pond, so idle time will surely come in. And Beasty going for a 3rd dock now. Make sure that he will have all the production needed, even once those Shinobi do come in.
Yep. Scout trying to be annoying just as Beasty's was. But the dock finishes, those Chinese villagers, those are working quite a bit harder. Same reason why Beasty finished his age up rather quickly, but the Shinobi are now roaming the map, and this is really when it gets scary because those things can cause serious, serious damage.
Yeah, just 6 Shinobi on the goal from Beasty could already be enough to make it to where Beasty will not be in a good position when it comes to making demolition ships. Demo ships, they cost a lot of gold. They cost almost as much gold as a knight. So you really need a lot of gold for them. Oh, Shinobi gets a couple of arrow shots in.
Arrow
He's gonna
what?
Be able to, yeah.
But LucifroN has been able to get his 2nd dock now in. Both players with their arrow ships. Both players now getting sprinkled ships. But Beasty, he's already got a demo in queue as well.
Arrow ship, arrow shots. There we go. It's not arrow shits, arrow shots.
Demo's waiting, trying to just wait for the perfect opportunity once that sprinkled ship comes out. Galley stuck in the corner, though. Feels really bad once this happened. Easy to get taken out. So LucifroN trying to get on top of the demo. His own demo's ready and waiting. Isn't able to close the distance.
And now he's got 2 docks there, which don't really do a lot. Passive stone income is at least going to be there for LucifroN. Maybe at some point he'll be able to get a defensive emplacement in on that. And Beasty, to be fair, like for LucifroN, building the 2 docks there, that's 300 resource invested. But the ships alone that Beasty has put out definitely make that like dock investment worth it. Doesn't even need to like really fight for the fish now, unless he wants to. He's getting more ships in production now. The question is, can he really like afford fighting there on water? Because BC already has a standing army just sitting in front of it.
Yeah, but the 2 Shinobi are waiting. There is an outpost on the gold. Super necessary. And more importantly, Beasty, he's moving out to the 2nd pond. So making that first expansion before LucifroN
Okay,
has started.
LucifroN's doing the right play. He canceled the ships. No, he's queuing them up again. Okay, but it's only demo ships this time around. But yeah, I think you don't want to invest more into that pond. Like just forcing Beasty into investing into all of these ships, 100% worth it. You don't need to like fight for these ponds now. You've already gotten your value in.
Demos?
Speaking of value, oh, that's
that was unfortunate.
The second shot was good. The first one was a little bit premature there. Shinobis do get a villager kill.
A villager kill on the other side. What LucifroN also could have done with those Shinobis, I don't know if he has the knowledge and vision of it, but Beasty moved out to that eastern side pond. So there's villagers free for the tanking, but more importantly, he could be delaying and denying those docks from actually allowing BC to have that earlier expansion.
Yeah, and now LucifroN, he's actually just going for it, sending another villager over there. So he's going to try and get a dock up on that second pond from the looks of it. Scout, just doing scouting things, and LucifroN soon will be in a position to be able to age up. Just Beasty investing a lot of resources here into these ships. It's gonna put him behind by quite a bit, and it's not like he got an insane amount of value out of it. All that he did with that was just keep his fish safe. He didn't like gain any additional resource. And LucifroN, he's a little bit ahead in economy and taking down 2 villagers. That's a pretty massive lead right now, and age up will be coming in soon.
Yeah, he's trying to move out to that eastern side to drop his own dock, but Beasty, he has an airship already waiting, kind of roaming the ponds, so will be hard for LucifroN to get that down. And will he be able to sneak it through? There is a galley already near there. There's a galley near my pond.
The question is, will Beasty see it? He sees it. He spots it.
And the villager brings out the shiv. Ooh.
Dock will get denied. And villager goes down.
Villager gets taken down. But floating gate is halfway up.
Yeah, and the question is, like, Beasty, he doesn't have a Barbican, right? All he has right now is 1 outpost without any emplacements. Pierce armor also being researched right now by LucifroN, so he will just immediately run it in. Beasty, he scouted the age up, he scouted the production building, double barracks now being rushed up.
He's also about to be aging up himself, so will be able to easily react, easily be able to match up with his own age up timing. Shinobi dive again and get another villager kill, but at the cost of his life.
Worth it. That's a quick age up. That's a quick age up for Beasty. 16 villagers on that astronomical clock tower.
Look at the relics, though.
20 seconds for the age up?
I don't think so, but relics are going to be snagged so quickly by LucifroN, and this is the big worry for Beasty, as first relic already being brought back, and LucifroN could be very, very quick to grab the other couple. And if it gets to a 4 to 5 relic different, I mean, if it's 4 relics to 1, it already creates that huge kind of cascading effect. But if it's a 5 to 0, it's going to be hard to ever kind of stabilize this long game.
Yeah, Mounted Samurai, first attack there. Got negated by the deflective armor. They are actually not bad when it comes to fighting against the spears, but LucifroN also going into the Yumis. There we go. All right, that's a really good follow-up. That's kind of what we usually tend to see from the Spanish brothers whenever they do go for fast castle age. Just that cavalry and archer composition suits them really, really well here. And if he gets like another Yoshiro relic in on... Oh, not the end of the world if one goes down. He does have the Imperial Academy, but still 100 resource that he will have to invest again into that one. And the Mounted Samurai also make it out alive, unless the archer ship from earlier. Is anything to say about that? Yoshiro isn't inside the archer range, so the archers aren't being produced as quickly. Bonus damage is going to be there.
Look at how many Mounted Samurai LucifroN already has out roaming, though. And the hard thing about those is just the movement speed. We see Beasty having, 6 spears chasing 2. It's like, well, you can't have 6 spears chasing all of them, as that's where we see LucifroN's next battalion roaming through. He's just going to do the exact same thing. Run past the spears, hit the wood line, try to get a little bit of eco damage, and then get on with the next raid. And behind this, he's already grabbed 2 of the relics, securing up the 3rd.
Yeah, relic situation definitely looking good here. No villager going down in that little engagement there. Beasty managed to pull those away to safety in time. Mounted Samurai just doing the loop around again, fading any damage from those spearmen for now. And behind this, Yumi archer numbers are starting to climb.
Springle Chip gets a shot in.
Oh, there's the Yumi archers.
4th
now
relic being
has
secured.
a bannerman there as well.
Oh, the bannerman already being out is so huge. Makes those Yumi archers feel so much less worthless.
Yeah, and 4 relics already here now. Beasty, he invested into 3 monks. Okay, that's almost no. I want to say that's no.
5 relics. 5.
He's not getting it. No way. Imagine investing 450 gold into monks and you're not getting a single relic. That feels painful.
Yeah, and you mentioned how much into monks, but he also has a building there that makes the monks that's pretty worthless as well, with no relic sitting inside it. Nothing really able to do with those monks except try to secure the sacred sites, but LucifroN has the map control. He's got 11 mounted samurai, and Beasty, he doesn't really have a good answer for those Yuumi archers either.
There's the answer, though.
There's a nest of bee.
The nest of bee comes in, and he might be here to save the day. Just a couple of lucky shots could bring Beasty back into this game. He does have the economic advantage right now, since he did invest a little bit more into the fishing ships. Then again, overall, the relics, they do help LucifroN out in a big part here. Also, getting the sacred sites now behind all of that. Oh, this is going to be difficult for Beasty to hold. He's just going to have to spam out units like there's no tomorrow. But I feel like if at one point LucifroN just gets, like, switches it up, goes into a big ball of just pure samurai as well, could be really, really tough. Samurai, they, even against crossbows, they just soak up a lot of damage with the deflective armor as well.
Yep, and LucifroN has a few mounted samurai that he was trying to get through, but more importantly, just denied up some walls, killed a villager. He regroups, pulls back again. The key, his army is so much higher value, and you can't forget about, you know, both players having a little bit of military ships out, so not all of the numbers up at the top are just standing army.
Yeah. Beasty, he's in a pretty good position when it comes to his map overall. Has the forward gold, but behind that, he has 2 additional gold mines that are now being completely walled up. LucifroN's going to be able to potentially... Nah, doesn't hit that villager through the wall. And yeah, I mean, Beasty has the map to potentially just wall himself up and play for the long game. On the samurai getting spotted out there. Entire army moves upon seeing those.
Another mounted samurai gets through, but costs his life and is not able to pick up that villager. Next set of walls have not been finished on up. That's where LucifroN's army is starting to posture, just kind of in between those few wood lines that Beasty's trying to connect. And Siege Workshop finally being built for LucifroN, or actually that might be a second one now.
Yeah. The one thing here right now to keep in mind is Beasty, it's pretty even for now. Like if Beasty is able to hold this as the game goes on longer and longer, and if he's able to decap one of the sacred sites, China, in theory, I want to say, is favored. Just right now, having the Nest of Bees is huge already against the Yuumi, against the archers. LucifroN is making Springles, but the siege from Beasty is going to be Clock Tower siege, so it takes an additional shot to take them down, meaning LucifroN, he's going to have to invest a lot into siege here. Question is, can he invest enough into it, as Springles already exchanging attacks there?
Yuumi's trying to kite on back. Spears diving forward. The second Springle comes forward for LucifroN, though. I don't know if Beasty spotted it out over on the back side. Doesn't look like he's seen it yet, as the Nest of Bees are starting to be fired upon too.
Oh, no, suddenly not anymore. And that's a big shot from the Nest of Bees. And a lot of the Yuumi archers suddenly get taken down. Not too many spears remaining. Actually, still a sizable amount. One of the Nest of Bees does get taken down. Springle moving forward now, but there aren't enough Yuumis here in order to keep repelling this. Springle gets taken down.
And both armies just kind of clash, take somewhat even trades, need to fall on back. Beasty loses another 2 villagers trying to wall on up, but more importantly, Beasty still has the siege mass alive.
Yeah, a lot of these mounted samurai, though, right now, they're not too healthy. And now LucifroN is switching it up into the samurai, into the katana abandonment as well. Is that gonna be enough, though, now? Because now it's just like that siege war, and Beasty has been able to climb up when it comes to the amount of crossbows that he has. Palace Guard tries to decap, gets baited out by the monk, though.
Yep.
And yeah, I feel like LucifroN has to play the sacred side game here if he wants to win it.
And I think he made that realization too, as he just sent a few villagers over that way, starting to build some outposts there, as he cannot build keeps in the Castle Age as Japan. Siege War trading out. Clock Tower Nest of Bees was the first thing picked off, which allows LucifroN to at least take the warfare on the ground. Mounted Samurai's taking the fight against the Samurais. Yuumi's trying the best they can to help on up, but a lot of those Mounted Samurais got taken out. That was not a good trade for LucifroN.
It's just so many spears right now. The Zerg flood really is happening right now. Just so many units. I'm not sure, is the Sacred Site still getting like DK? Okay, never mind. He sent units over. A couple villagers did get taken down, so will need to send more if he wants to get those outposts up. Definitely will want to get those outposts up.
Another TC being dropped for LucifroN now. So he's going to slowly be able to boom up his economy a little more as this continues to expand. And he's got Beasty. He's already got the pressure on Beasty with the Sacred Sites, with the relics, knowing that Beasty's on a timer. He's got 7 minutes to push out of his base behind from these walls.
Yeah. Beasty also moving out to stone there on the western side. I'm guessing he wants to get enough stone for a keep and then just rush it. Like 20, 30 villagers rush up the keep next to the Sacred Site, push in with the military at the same time. And LucifroN will be hard-pressed to deny both the army and the keep. He'll have to decide for one. If he defeats the army, then he'll still have to give up the Sacred Site victory to the keep, though.
Yep, and we've seen how that's happened a few times. That was game number 1. LucifroN focused a little bit too much on some villagers, lost the army war, and then it snowballed from there. However, LucifroN, if he is able to get a few more of those outposts up with some sprinkled emplacements, it will at least force BC to put more of a cost into that. Villagers there to rebuild that one sprinkled on that front line for LucifroN, but there's another 3 or 4 that were sitting behind the other set of trees.
If I was LucifroN right now, and obviously LucifroN doesn't see anything, so I want to add, if I was LucifroN right now in this situation, and I had map hacks as well, I would just drop random walls around the Sacred Sites just to make the placement of a keep pretty much impossible.
Oh, but the keep, it looks like it's more of a keep creep as it secures up some vision, secures up the 8k gold vein, but ultimately it doesn't actually secure him the Sacred Site or allow him to go and, run on top of it and deny it.
LucifroN immediately gets a trebuchet in queue.
Trebuchet is going to start popping out. And the key thing here is LucifroN has to have so many less villagers on gold for all of this just because of how much passive income he's getting. Mounted Samurai diving. Villagers.
Not being spotted yet. Not many going down, though.
They jumped inside. They did take, I think, a charge before jumping inside. So the next time they get spotted out, going to be a little bit more difficult. Some palace guards maybe going for some attempted raiding, but LucifroN dropping some walls and dropping some more outposts. He's about to have outposts all over them. I feel like he's already up to like 10 outposts all along.
Yeah, it's as he said, like you kind of need them, right? You don't have access to keeps in the Castle Age. Barbican of the Sun is now coming in. Actually, a forward Barbican here. Not too sure about that. BC, though, he's got 7 Springles. This is just CG Cutie manifested right now. Look at that. Also walling there to the side, making sure that his army can't get attacked from the side, can't get flanked. Barbican will probably go up here.
Yeah, and the 7 Springleds, I mean, the numbers on the other side from LucifroN are there, but Beastie, his are clock tower, so his are going to take better trades. So actually 1 for 1 at the start there.
Yeah,
but next one, next one goes over to Beastie's side. LucifroN still has some support from the Springled emplacement. Beastie stepped up with some crossbows a little too far. That might be a few of those crossbows thrown down the drain. And the west side keep is getting sieged down, though.
Springle emplacement at least getting some damage in here.
Oh, good trades there to start out from Lucy, but the Nest of Beasts just shredded the Yuumi archers, absolutely crushing shots there. Military numbers favoring Beastie, and he just got an unbelievable shot from the siege. This might be hard for LucifroN to defend this up now, even with the outposts.
Springle emplacement tries to do some damage to the Nest of Beasts, but it's just not enough. Needs to focus the Springles instead. Now Beastie army is climbing. So many Springles going down. Another huge shot comes in from the Nest of Beasts. Suddenly 15 Yuumi archers do go down, and the Springles, they're just being trickled in. They're getting taken apart.
LucifroN, he needs to fall back. He needs to regroup. He needs to give up the Sacred Site control and say, yes, this was not my win condition. I thought I need to regroup. I need to reboom, because he does have an economic lead. He did drop that second TC. This was not an all-in play for the Sacred Sites, or else he wouldn't have dropped the second TC. It would have been more outposts, more investments into military and defenses.
Mushas, for some reason, now being masked up as well. Sure, they do pretty well against the Palace Guards, but not so much against the mass of crossbows that Beasty has out right now. 36 crossbows right now from Beasty. And LucifroN, yeah, it all just kind of comes down to the siege, right? Like, you need to have so many more Springles here as the Japanese against the Chinese. Keep will go down.
This is now the point where Beasty, he has the control. He's starting to break out. He's got 85 ground units out, not even including his stronger siege. And that second TC from LucifroN, it's about to get taken down in the blink of an eye.
It's going to be very difficult, yeah, not having a lot of units out right now at all. Onabugashas now being masked up. Onabugashas, they're not as terrible against Palace Guards as they are against normal men-at-arms, because the Palace Guards have a little bit less melee armor. But LucifroN doesn't even have the never mind, I take that back. I want to say he doesn't have the melee upgrades, but knowing the UI, he probably does.
Probably so, but Beasty, he's knocking on that doorstep, and there's not much that LucifroN can do other than just run and wait and try to hope that he can build this mass up.
Yeah, TC now getting siege down. Beasty behind this. I think he's also sending a couple of units out to the external resources. Springles, at least. Fight is going well now for LucifroN, so we'll be able to win the Springled War. Doesn't have enough units, though, to really just follow up with that.
Yeah, it looks like Beasty broke off a few of these units to go in to do some raiding. We know how strong those Palace Guards can be, annoying they can be when it comes to their raiding potential. And Beasty still has those Nest of Bees to deal with. Yep.
That's a lot of villagers that go down there. 5 to 6 villagers that LucifroN will lose, and he did lose that second TC.
Yeah, so these losses are that much more important. Palace Guards closing the gap. Crossbow stepping on in. Nest of Bees following up with it. Will this just be the final fight? Beasty is going for the throat here. Springald's getting closed down upon by the Palace Guards, and Crossbow's just shredding everything.
They're kind of distracting the Nest of Bees at the very least, I want to say.
I'm confused where they're going.
They're looking for a safe haven. It's just not there. Musha actually, like, putting in the hours, putting in the work.
Mangonel finally comes out for LucifroN. He feels like he has somewhat stabilized the siege war. Villager number basically dead even. Military number still favoring Beasty, but LucifroN has held this, at least for the time being. Another Palace Guard raid, though.
Yeah, and that hurts hard. LucifroN, he's in a situation, in a composition right now where he needs a lot of gold. Also will need it for potential Imperial Age. Beasty, he's got the gold. He's owed over 2k gold per minute right now, and he just secured himself another large gold vein on the eastern side. Might actually do the same with the western one. Then again, these outposts do all have sprinkle emplacement, so...
Another couple mangonels out for LucifroN, and LucifroN has dropped another TC on the front side of that wood line. It might have actually just gotten spotted out by some Palace Guards, though.
Trebuchet? Hello?
Trebuchet. Oh, actually, I think it all might stay up here just because of the reinforcements. Villager healing. And a good micro there by LucifroN. So game has kind of gotten to this point where walls are up. There's a lot of chaoticness, a lot of hecticness, but we are extended, and I feel like Imperial Age is going to be knocking on the doorstep here pretty soon.
Yeah, but we're getting into the siege game again. Beasty, he just had 2k gold in the bank. Look at it now. It's all invested into siege. He's gonna have almost 10 Springles out here in a little bit. Both players, at least Beasty, he's over 30 siege population. LucifroN, he's at 27.
And Beasty's all his
siege haters here. Look away.
CGQD is back in action. Those mangonels that LucifroN has are going to feel absolutely worthless with how many Springles Beasty has.
Yeah. LucifroN's going to have to pull back from that gold vein. I think he might be looking for an age up. If he ages up, then if he has the Yorishiro inside of one of the siege workshops, if he gets roller shutter triggers in quickly, I do see a way for him to just straight up hold if he rushes an age up in. Otherwise, I think Beasty's army still kind of hasn't beat for the most part. Beasty also just still raiding on the sides on like all the exposed economy parts on the map.
Yeah, just one or two palace guards here and there just proved to be such a thorn in the side. You can see having to pull the Onimusha back, having to deal with these raids. There's still an outpost with a Springald emplacement that hadn't been cleared up, giving BC some extra vision. Saw right when LucifroN moved out to try to take some of those berries.
This just the discipline from Beasty. I would have at least clicked like select all military a couple of times here, and just all the work with just having a couple of these palace guards on the sides would have been for nothing. But no, Beasty, he doesn't use that key. He probably doesn't. I think he has it bound, but he's got the discipline to not use that key, and that just allows him to be able to completely
Castle the
shut down a lot
Crow.
of these other resources. Yeah, Imperial Age is going to be coming in here. Does LucifroN have a Yorishiro inside one of the siege workshops? If he does, then this should favor him. He's going up to 9 Springles now as well. Both players with 9 Springles. I'm gonna say, I don't like these kind of situations, but here we are.
Here it way.
Mass siege incoming for both.
I mean, this is just where, especially when it comes to Siege can make fights so one-sided, where, you know, you get a couple good Mangonel shots, a couple good Nesta B shots, and all of a sudden, 60 units turns into nothing. So will we see that here? Palace Guards running forward yet again for another little raiding party. Both Imperial Ages finish at basically the same time, though.
It's a trebuchet? No, Beast just ignores the trebuchet running past. Never mind. I say it. He thinks he sees it. We'll pick that one right up, and roller shot triggers coming for both players now. Beasty though, he has the option of supervising it. I think LucifroN's got it in a Yorishiro. It's progressing quite fast. The upgrade to this. So much siege on the field, dude. Oh no,
That's
some
the
hefty
bees.
Nesta B shots.
Roller Shutter Trigger's already starting to prove. Oh nope, it's not quite finished
one
up
either.
yet. But Mangonel
What is
shots, they're just trading their frontline units, and they care all about their siege keeping the siege alive. Roller
the
Shutter
crystal
Triggers is
stove.
about to finish up, but BC's the only one with Springalds left, really.
Oh, this is devastating for LucifroN. Absolutely is devastating. At least he gets away with it. Oh, he stands still. And now Shot Triggers is going to complete the siege. Siege.
Over. GG's in the chat. It's got to be
GG.
surrender.
Yeah, you cannot lose that now. Like, you cannot lose that much siege. LucifroN, he's got good gold income. At least he's got the key period that's going to stall it out. But that has to feel very bad now. Beasty's got the gold there secured once again. These little just little raids here and there, picking him apart on the sides. So far, he's got a lot of obligations, but he hasn't been able to really move out with those. And now we're seeing bombards coming in as well.
That is where now Beasty, we've seen those Palace Guards be super annoying. Well, now when they get their even further upgrades, Imperial Age, once they start getting the extra movement speed, if Beasty swaps dynasties, they become that much more difficult to deal with.
Tiny's keeps doing its job against these unarmored units. Beasty pulling his units away. Geisha's getting a couple of shots in.
A lot of
Yeah.
units just kind of being thrown away though for nothing too much yet.
Yeah, and
Trying to
the
break
walls are
into-
going to buy enough time for Beasty's main army to arrive here.
Yeah, BC has so much of his army, his population space invested into siege right now, but that's
true.
actually going to allow
Yeah.
him to just take down all of LucifroN's infrastructure once he gets there.
It's 50% siege, 50% actual military units. Which is wild.
And then half of those military units are just being sent into LucifroN's economy to be thrown away in raid.
Yeah.
But
Both
LucifroN,
villagers get killed here now, at least. Don't think it's quite the comeback for LucifroN, though. Not too many units that go down. And the emplacements are doing a lot of damage. Beasty is Song Dynasty behind this, so his villagers can get replaced quite quickly.
yeah, and he's actually dropping, I think, a second TC or just did a little bit ago. So villager counts, economy counts won't be hard to replace for either of these players at this point. It's going to be all about the continual onslaught, the continual trades.
Yeah. Lots of the Mushas are getting taken down, and now there's an outpost. So even though the palace guards have been pushed back, this front isn't able to immediately get the gold from that gold mine. Warriors coming in once again. See a couple of ramps now in queue for LucifroN.
Uh-oh. You know what I see Beasty doing? He's making the hand cannon swap. And this is where... Yeah. This is where China, late game, once you get that hand cannon mass with the extra range, they're just impossible to deal with.
It's going to be very hard for sure. Something that LucifroN could, in theory, have going for himself. He can have the hand cannons with the most amount of damage with the Yumi Bannerman. I think it works out to like 50, 52 damage per shot from the hand cannoneers.
More walls being invested into. Beasty starting to siege down the Imperial Age landmark Castle of the Crow. Not one, not two, but 3 bombards here. So give it a couple more shots, a couple more seconds, and that thing's going down. Fight being taken. LucifroN stepping up, but there's 5 nested bees here.
Yeah, LucifroN, he's got double the military, but does it matter against this many nests of bees? I'll tell you, no, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It's too much siege.
It's
doesn't
behind
matter
the
if
wall.
you double the military. It doesn't matter if it's military that's in theory good against siege, or at least good at picking up siege. The siege mass behind the wall, you cannot really deal with that.
And Beasty, he's going to continue this siege creep. You can see how he already has another set of walls. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just continually moving up these layers. Castle the Crow once again starting to get lower. And this time the nest bees, they're just waiting patiently behind the wall.
It looks like Beasty behind all of that has gotten a dock up on the Western Lake. And that could be very devastating if he gets like a Bao-chan out, because what do you do against Bao-chan? A Takabuna isn't really going to cut it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is more population space that LucifroN's now having to invest into water instead of investing into defending Palace Guard raids or defending the massive siege in his front side. LucifroN sending his own raiding party, gonna get a good amount of damage here.
Yeah, actually,
a lot of
villagers.
damage.
A lot of damage indeed. That's a lot of villagers that just went down there. Wait, that's a lot of damage.
That was like 20, 30 villagers in the blink of an eye.
Oh my god, and the Bugasias just keep raiding on the sides, and yeah, Beasty suddenly losing 30 villagers there.
He still has his siege though.
Yeah, that's still a death ball that you have to get past, right? And Beasty has enough resource for another TC, and he does have a second TC up. Still in Song Dynasty, so villager losses can easily be replaced.
I don't see a ton of military units here. Onas, they're getting on top of the siege. Springolds!
The Springolds?
Villagers are there, but that's going to be more villagers going down, more siege going down, and Beasty. This looked like this game was all his, but he sat around waiting a little bit too long. More villagers falling. Beasty is down to 72 economy.
I went all in on Beasty winning this one. He can't lose this like this now, right?
Surely not.
Not my points.
It looked so good for him a few minutes ago. We called GG's. We did the typical caster cursing, but LucifroN, he's still in this. He is not giving up.
It's still difficult to get past that huge siege ball. But LucifroN, he might have just bought himself a chance, a shot at this. Couple of farms out there as well. Beasty now going for another keep.
One thing you
Farm
cannot
economy is
forget.
great.
One thing you cannot forget is what happens when Beasty runs out of gold.
He's
Who
got
has
taxes,
the relic?
but that doesn't,
Who has the relics? Who has the sacred site?
That's a big nest of B-shot though.
Beasty
Just
moving
casually
forward.
Killing 10 units with one volley.
The Onas, they were trying to go for another raiding party, but there's no villagers there this time. He killed too many last time. There weren't enough there.
And Beasty, he's gonna secure another gold vein there. Not sure how much gold is remaining in that one, but still, any little bit of gold right now is much appreciated here for Beasty, as he's sitting at roughly 300 gold per minute at the moment. Nice body block there in the boiling oil. Definitely not
LucifroN
someplace you wanna
going
stay.
back for some granaries, going back for some more. The eco keeping Beasty on this back foot, but the granaries, they've already been left. There aren't many villagers there anymore.
Completely evacuated, yeah. Oh, it's actually got all of them in the villages, though. That's a building that you can take
Villages
down
are
relatively
huge
quickly.
pickups later in the game.
Oh, but the army is here. The hand cannoneers to the rescue. At the same time, more raids coming in. Attempted ram push. Not quite enough rams yet. Onobogacious are so cheap right now, and actually Beasty, he might find himself in a situation where he's just going to get overwhelmed by LucifroN in these many attacks. He needs stone walls, but it's so tough to really like find the area to put them up in.
Yep, Beasty has been able to reclaim gold, at least for the time being, and there's actually another Western gold vein. He's on 2 different ones. LucifroN, totally off of gold for the time being.
He is. Doesn't need too much gold though, right? He's getting a lot from the relics. I think he's also got the upgrade where he's getting 2 additional Yorishiro relics, and he always has the option of just destroying some of his production buildings with the Yorishiros in at this time in the game to get more Yorishiros for gold. He can, in theory, be like on like pretty much 1,000 passive gold per minute, I want to say.
Oh, he is sitting on 524.
That's not quite that much.
Beasty has been able to resecure some gold, has been able to get some cannon emplacements on his keep there in the center, and
not a spot you
still
can take
has
down.
that siege mass. I mean, with that many Springalds, with that much siege, you just got to attack a different spot if you're LucifroN here. Springalds trying to trade, getting absolutely decimated. Nest the Beast shot, getting a huge fire in. All of those Onas go to half health.
My God. Yeah, I think you. Oh God. Oh God. It's a complete destruction, man. These Nest of Beasts are vile, man. The siege is vile. And even if you want to make your own Springalds against this, you're gonna need at least 6 in order to just deal with the Springalds that Beast
But have
has.
they overstepped here?
They're running back. The front line is there to body block. And with the body blocks, they cannot gap close on that siege. They turn around and a huge volley. Spells the end of the majority of LucifroN's units there.
Yep, LucifroN did split off another mass, getting into the granary, so once again hitting Beasty's eco, but he just lost so much on that front side. He had 5 more rams come out, but what are the rams going to go do? There's so many Springalds here, I'm pretty sure the rams just get one-shotted.
That Spriggles, they sure do work well against the rams. Look at the rams. You would think that surely this unit would be able to like soak up a couple of shots there, but not when there's so many siege units out on the field.
Ona's getting cleared up yet again. LucifroN, he's got the economy, but he cannot take down the ball.
EOV, you're playing against Ottomans, and you just can't get rid of the death ball. That's what this feels like.
It really does. I mean, especially with that many hand cannoneers at this point, they got that extra damage, extra range on them that they have. It's so difficult to close that gap, especially when you got Beasty body blocking.
You're in a situation as well where making Springalds isn't really a realistic option with the amount of gold income that you have. LucifroN, he just queued up 4 Springalds. Doesn't have any more gold. He needs to sell food in order to get more gold, in order to make more Springalds. He's gold starved. And Beasty, army value more than doubles LucifroN's.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one where Beasty has kept his siege mass alive for so long. He's been able to throw away all the trash units and replace them with the higher tiered up hand cannoneers, and this is looking like his type of game.
Ah, man. Beasty, I think he put down an additional layer of walls inside of his base, making sure that the Onobogacious can't just run through again. A couple of those glitch walls coming in. Yeah, there they are.
Next set of Palace Guard raids coming in.
What do you do against this military?
Surrender.
Yeah, I agree. This is gonna be a painful death. LucifroN right now, he's massing up a ton of Samurai. Now, Samurai, they have one advantage compared to normal invasions. They're tankier with the deflective armor, health and armor and whatnot. Is that gonna be enough, though, against 34 hand cannoneers, a big front line with 22 Palace Guards, and 5 Nest of Bees?
I don't think so, but LucifroN will show us here in a second.
I think he's still leading villagers in order to get an even bigger army mess. Yeah, he's still leading a lot of villagers right now. LucifroN, he's gonna go for the Hail Mary.
I mean, we've been talking about it. How do you clear up the death ball? There's only one way. It's to have a bigger death ball yourself.
Beasty in his current situation, he could advance. I'm surprised he's not in the Yuan Dynasty at this point in time. Getting plus 15% more movement speed on your units in this situation would truly be a big upside for him. A couple of raids coming in once again, but it's not about the raids, right? It's about winning the actual fight. Just winning with raids, or rather just getting raids in, doesn't really mean anything in this matchup. You gotta get rid of that huge Imperial Age army from Beasty. That is just so oppressive right now.
The question is has LucifroN deleted enough? Will he need to delete more?
I don't think it's a matter of deletion. I think you could have like 200 units and the Nest of Beasts would still win you that fight. Right? Like, he can't win with the Springled War. That's probably the most frustrating thing here right now. 3 Springles, Beastie still has 3 Springles, some of them clock towers, so you can't really win those engagements. And now the fight is gonna happen. Look at that. First Nest of Beast Valley. Second Nest of Beast Volley. Samurai closing in, though.
Oh, they're on top of the Nest of Bees. Beastie's not body blocking the Nest of Bees. Hand Cannoneers just kiting back, and there's a huge mass of villagers running for a keep.
Yeah, that's so many villagers. The keep is probably going to go up.
The keep's going to go up. If you're LucifroN, I think you just continue to take down the ball instead. He breaks off, though. Wants to take down some of these villagers. Hand Cannoneers now able to kite back and able to clear up the rest of that mass that was on top of them.
BC doesn't have more gold. Still has the Hand Cannoneer mass, though. Hand Cannoneer mass did not get taken down. Still 30 alive.
Yeah, I think staying on that Hand Cannoneer mass instead of killing the villagers was much more important here. There's so many ramps still alive.
What is that? Oh,
you gotta love pathing. You got to love pathing.
Yeah, that's not a feels good moment. LucifroN, at least he took down the keep on one of the sacred sides. But can he keep this up? He's still just massing only pure Samurai. Bannerman now in there again. No,
if he's able to clear up the Hand Cannoneer mass, this actually gets to a point where it is a spot for him to get back into this game, where that ball has been cleaned up. Beastie cannot make siege as easily again, where LucifroN, he's been in this spot that he's been in for a while.
He has been for sure. See, right now, mostly just relying on, pretty much only relying on Texas. There's one last gold mine that he's on right now. He's pretty much vacuuming that one up right now. Is it gonna be enough? I mean, it's still so many Hand Cannoneers, right? As long as BC just keeps them semi-protected, he'll be fine.
Rams are still out and about, taking down more production, taking down more keeps, taking down more of these static defenses and vision, which makes it even harder to clear up these Ona raids, these Samurai raids.
Yeah, Beast getting taken down, keeps getting taken down. BC still has 1,500, stone in the bank, could drop another keep with some emplacements. Man, this is just such a war of attrition right now for both of these players. LucifroN's still on 3k food per minute.
I'm wondering if LucifroN starts to make villagers again now that he deleted so many for that pop space, clearing up that ball. Now he needs more economy to remax, to repop.
I think it kind of ended with that, like, one big army mass and he wasn't quite able to clean up the ball, right? Like, what's he really achieving now? Like, his army is gonna get cleaned up just by Hand Cannoneers alone. Meanwhile, Beastie can be freely raiding his economy with just the palace guards. There are reinforcement samurai at least coming in. It's gonna be enough though. These villagers kills also, it kind of doesn't really matter that much at this point in time. And Candy is mostly sleeping though.
Look at Beasty's food. He's only at 1,500 food, where LucifroN's at 3,000. Idling out the food, I mean, it will make a little bit of a difference, I would say. Hasn't been able to have his eco hurt.
It kind of doesn't matter as long as the army stays alive, right? Like, you don't need more food if your army just doesn't die, and you don't need to replace them.
You're not wrong, but neither of these players are at max pop yet. Again.
That's true. That's true, but LucifroN's still lacking behind the population a lot compared to Beasty right now. 140 compared to 185 population right now.
Feels like Beasty has had the game in his hands for a little bit, but just hasn't been able to get past those yellow walls, hasn't been able to close the gap. And both of these civs just very, very strong when it comes to some of their late game masses, their late game annoyances.
Yeah, people don't be confused about the UI saying that LucifroN doesn't have any eco upgrades. Japan, they're having a little bit of a rough spot. I think they had a little bit of a falling out with the development team. It's bugged. It's bugged. There are upgrades. Upgrades happen, research. We're not 50 minutes into a game without upgrades.
LucifroN is struggling on the wood count now.
He doesn't have any villagers in wood, and he doesn't really need wood right now, and he just calls it there. GG gets called.
After all that.
Ooh.
After all that.
After all that, yeah. I mean, how are you gonna beat this, right? It's still 35 like hand cannoneers. You can't make siege. You can't make good range units against them. Yeah, it was kind of inevitable. It was a little bit anticlimactic. Not a final fight, but LucifroN knew that even though he has like the five relics, he wasn't really in a situation to come back in this one without siege.
Yeah, it felt like there was just like 20 minutes straight of LucifroN just throwing resources down the drain trying to kill that siege ball. I really felt like if he had deleted the vills earlier like he did and done that mass to actually take down the nest of bees and take down the springalds, he might have had a chance. But by the time he took it all out, there weren't enough resources left on the map for himself.
Yeah. If some butts, boys, right? Like, that's always the way these type of games go. But first of all, we've got to address it, right? Easily the best series of the tournament so far. Game 1 and Game 4, I think you'll agree, Dabston, has locked that statement in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started out today with game number 1, and it was that crazy back and forth. Some might call it a throw, some might call it a crazy hold, but either way, Beasty was able to take that one, get the dub there. And once again, I think there were multiple points in this game where we said, oh, Beasty's got it. Oh, LucifroN's got it. And now we're like, okay, Beasty ended up getting it up, tying up the series.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right? Like, I don't think we get to see Chinese as much on full X at the moment, Crackety. Japan, though, I've talked to a few players. They feel like they're the new king of the lakes here. Do you think there was maybe a misstep there from LucifroN? Was there an opportunity to close this in the mid-game around like 20, 25 minutes?
Yeah, I think it all kind of just comes down to the siege part, right? Like, Beasty, he had the Nest of Bees and he had the Springles, and as long as Springles are the counter to Springles, the Nest of Bees are just, what are you going to do against them, right? Like, in theory, LucifroN had a really, really good army composition with the Yuumi and the Mounted Samurai. Doesn't matter when the Nest of Bees suddenly take down all your military units in just one fell swoop, right? And yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like, you gotta respect the siege. You have to play the siege game. You can't just like throw your head against the wall and hope it works.
Do you think maybe Dabston there was a way that he could have opened with the Yuumi instead of the Mount Samurai? Because I feel like I've seen that play by Puppapaw, especially on land maps. But is the food a bit too tasty to pass up the opportunity to go Cav?
I think it's not only the food's too tasty to go Cav, it's also, where can you actually find damage with just the Yuumi over on Beasty's side? He already had Outpost up on the gold. He already had his own kind of units mass. The Castle Age timing was very, very similar. So he's able to kind of equalize against the Yuumi pretty efficiently himself. Whereas I feel like with the Mounted Samurai, you're able to keep him on the back foot, continue the raid, utilize him having the lack of mobility with his units.
I think the sinking point in that game, you mentioned the siege coming in Crackety, but I think it was also the Mounted Samurai when he headbutted the front line and lost, I think, about 75% of them. I look back at that moment. I'm wondering, LucifroN, a player renowned so much for his rating, was there maybe a way he could have just tried to hit the sides, maybe avoid that direct clump for a bit longer?
He did that for the most part, I want to say. Like he really tried to go for those wood lines. The issue is that the majority of the economy is going to be on water. And if you're being like pushed off of a pond, it is very hard to get back on it when the ships are already there. You can't just sneak a dock up. Um, yeah, it's a very difficult situation, right? Like we very much were at that point with the walls up and whatnot. That it all came down to where a central fight was forced, and you can't really keep raiding at that point in time.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say, Dabston, once you get in that Imperial Age, it kind of feels like a Chinese favored matchup, right? We even saw the Cast of the Crow because you could get free hand cannoneers, but there was just going to be worse hand cannoneers.
Yeah, I mean, there was a point where it looked scary for Beasty when he ran out of gold. But then, right when he was able to resecure that next 8K gold, he kind of scooped it all up and then remasked up, kept that bigger kind of unit composition alive, stronger unit composition, and then still had the tax gold to rely on. That's what you can never forget about.
And you know what? We didn't really talk too much about Game 3 because I think the lesson in that one was Byzantines might be a tiny bit overrated with this map composition, Crackety. But I feel like there was maybe an opportunity with Coastal Cliffs ahead of us. Yes, folks, we have got a redraft. We've got to dissect this because we know that Crackety's favorite civ at the moment has appeared as the first pick for LucifroN.
Yeah. Wait, oh no, you meant the other way around. I was thinking of Shuji for Beastie, but no, LucifroN, yeah, he's gotten the HRE. He's
You
gotten
got
the
both your
HRE.
favorites, your fake favorite and your real favorite, you know?
Exactly. I'll leave it up to you to decide which one is the real and which one's the fake. But yeah, Archipelago, definitely like the top civilization here should be HRE or China for LucifroN, I want to say. Given that Beastie has Zhuji, I'm not sure if that makes you want to tend to go for China over HRE just because it makes the playing field a little bit more even. But Zhuji kind of hard counters China on water, I want to say. Having the IO immediately, starting off with a little bit more wood, makes it very difficult for China in that matchup. So I personally would like to see HRE on Archipelago coming out from LucifroN. No doubt it's going to be Zhuji from Beastie. Coastal Cliffs, also kind of a no-brainer. It's going to be Malians versus Ayubids. No real doubt about that. And right now, Socotra, just looking at Mongols versus Rus, I mean, this has to be heavily, heavily Rus favored, right? Like, get those very, very small maps. You have the bounty that helps you with the age up, something that the Mongols actually can't really stop. And here to watch AOE coming in with the 25 gifted subs. Thank you, man.
Yeah, keep those subs coming. I'm seeing it. I hear Pesty likes sub trains. He doesn't get to use trains very often. He now lives, I think he lives somewhere in Europe where trains aren't needed. They live all close together. So this is the only opportunity for him to see them. But, it's interesting the way you're dissecting this right now. I think I agree on the Roost detail. And Dabson, we've seen why Roost are great on this map, right? Like, the clustered wolves, I think we had a game early on Socotra in the tournament where there were 5 wolves on one screen.
I remember that exact point. I think it was Wham playing. I got a good laugh on it. But it's not only the kind of clustered wolves, it's also one where in Socotra it's a very condensed map. And what's Roost the greatest at? At just playing defensively, but also expanding and aggressively. They kind of are that jack of all trades. They got the Kremlin, boost up their wood economy, but also allow them that extra vision, extra safety, and then call the militia if you want, which with a smaller map, you can get a lot more damage done in your opponent's eco.
Yeah, and not very diveable, right? That Kremlin is almost like a castle age landmark when you do the calculation on the DPS. And you mentioned the wood, right? It's limited wood, and you've just got more of it. Just a juicy pick. When we dissect this deep and deeper, Crackety, does this start to look like a draft where LucifroN is looking to end before the 7th game? Because you already alluded to this. The Juji look unanswered if we go Game 7 Archipelago.
Want to say overall, looking at the draft, LucifroN has just been time and time again been out drafting Beastie here throughout these games. Zhuji is scary. Zhuji, no doubt, is a very, very scary civilization to face off against. I highly believe that LucifroN wants to end the series before it comes to Zhuji. I don't think he'll have that opportunity because if he wins the next game, Beastie is going to be able to pick the map, right?
Sure.
And both, we're through the rotation, so both maps, both the open and the water map, are available again. One thing that I want to say though, because we kind of skipped over it, Divine Gifter came in with the 50 gifted subs.
What?
So thank you so much for supporting the Age of Empires 4 seed here.
Hey, and while you're at it, guys, remember, we have got Surfshark on board, so click through, because we love that you're giving all these subs. We want to give some back to you. They've got an insane deal going right now. It's like over 86% off if you get a 2-year subscription, and courtesy of using the EGC TV code, you'll get an extra 4 months on top. Remember, I already talked about this. It has a money-back guarantee. Give it a try, see if it's for you, see if you've got some uses, and let me know about those uses. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Get your hands on huge discounts. I, for one, am a very big Adobe fan, thanks to Surfshark. Wink. But I'm a very big fan of this series. So far, LucifroN versus Beasty has been stacking up to be the most impressive series of the tournament, and we're not even on grand finals day yet. But we feel like we're being delivered that type of blessing. It's time for game number 5, and all it will get us is a player on match point. There's still plenty to be decided here in this best of 7 elimination series. Beasty now with the Mongols, LucifroN with the Rus, and we're about to get uncomfortable and a little bit too cozy. It's Socotra time.
It's all tied up. Game number 5. We got Beasty spawning in as the Mongols in the color teal yet again, and LucifroN on the other side of Socotra as the Rus in the color yellow.
Exactly. This is going to be an interesting one. Look at that. LucifroN, he's made the second scout from his TC before even finishing up the hunting cabin here. I think that's a pretty good call here to make, especially since the map is so small. I think it's probably necessary getting the scout out just a little bit quicker here in order to get as much bounty in as possible. And it meant that LucifroN was actually able to pick up both of the small deer spots there before Beasty got to them.
Yeah, I mean, that's where these little slight differences, you can tell, you know, the players who practice these civilizations are the players who just kind of still, you know, play what they're used to over here, able to grab another couple deer over on the side of Beasties as well, and grabs the vision of the Uvu and the barracks still being dropped on top of it. This is going to be a fun.
Gathered.
Yes, this will be a fun guess the bounty game here.
Yeah, we're getting Wheelbarrow in as well, so LucifroN clearly believes that he will have enough bounty to both afford that and be able to age up.
Yeah, we did see him just snag another wolf, and his other scout was on yet another wolf, so it is looking pretty clear as far as this early opening goes. Just kind of needs to find, I think, one more wolf after this one.
Yeah. Interesting is Beasty, he is going for the for like an outpost rush, or at least he has made the spearman for it. Question is, this is like the one really weird thing, or rather one really bad thing for Mongols in this matchup. You're not really able to deny like the age up from Rus, and also after that, like they're not even making the mining camp. But there we go, Villager also gets spotted out. Outpost is coming in behind the wood line.
Villager already starting to try to get hit by the scout a little bit, and Vills get pulled by LucifroN.
Oh,
and
he
immediately
immediate cancellation. And LucifroN, just one more tick from the hunting cabin, and he's gonna have enough gold for age up. A little bit unfortunate that he didn't get the wolf next to the stone mine from like on his western side. Would have already have enough. And this is a lot of villager idle time. Beasty can just delete that, walk back, and build up again. Actually, Shiv's getting pulled right now against the spearman. Micro comes out, weak villager gets pulled back, and now the Kremlin is being dropped here. Villagers are gonna be in range of the TC. And Beasty, he's gonna have to go somewhere else with the outpost. Is gonna go for it between the two wood lines.
Yeah. Only has those 2 initial spears though, so we've seen the boys get pulled a few times already. We've seen the shivs get pulled. There's already a little bit of damage on those, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see LucifroN just do that same exact thing again, except this time wait for Beasty to get about halfway up on that outpost first.
Yeah, just being able to deny it once again. But Beasty, he invested again into some more spears, so now he'll have 4. Before Spearman, I don't think he can realistically do a villager pull again. He's going for it now
before
the Spearmen arrive. I think it's going to be necessary. He's got the villagers, the TC
villagers
well.
are in range, yeah. Range of TC. Outpost gets canceled.
The timing is gone now.
Yep.
The militia should be right. You still start with a point, right? I think you should start with a supply point.
I believe you at least still start with 1 set of Kremlin militia. scouts throwing some torches on the outpost. You can see LucifroN, he doesn't care about the villager. He wants to make sure that the outpost never is able to get up. Kremlin finishes.
And no, you don't. All right. It's been changed a bunch of times. So no, you don't start with the militia anymore. Not going to be able to deny that outpost now.
Yep, so outpost will end up going up. Oh, doesn't, I mean, that's just barely on the edge of Kremlin and TC range, but BC just barely staying out of it, knowing that range so perfectly. And this outpost going up is massive.
What's LucifroN going to do now? He's not going for a second TC here. At least he hasn't started gathering up any stone so far. More spearmen being made by Beasty. Archery range should be dropped as a response at some point here, right? Question is... Okay, now the stone is being gathered up. It's gonna be a second TC, like a 2 TC play after all.
Yep. Villager headed back home. The two other spears from Beasty are headed over to the deer, headed over to that west side, probably where LucifroN's going to want to drop that secondary TC, but wouldn't be able to do so, especially if Beasty drops another outpost, but the boys get pulled. Beasty does not have all of his spears here, and a couple of those are pretty low health.
That's no textiles yet on those villagers, but only 3 spearmen inside. Means that Beasty actually doesn't have enough spear in order to really like defend this. Beasty, Khan, and rest of the military is all going back.
One villager does go down. Unbelievable micro by LucifroN, though, almost going unscathed.
Yeah. The scout going down, though. Right now, he is behind in villagers against civilization, which usually itself is behind in villagers. Yeah, second TC should be going up. The question is, where exactly will it go up? Maybe LucifroN just gonna place it passively next to his gold. Wait, there's another outpost going up. Yeah, okay. Beasty is going for another outpost there next to the other wood line. Is the scout going to be able to see it? LucifroN, he's got it forward right now. This is also one of the main strengths of the Kremlin, right? Like, look at the amount of vision that LucifroN has right now. The majority of the middle of the map is all in vision for him right now.
The scout moved forward right as the villager walks around.
Wall is not going to be long enough. Spearman just going to run right past it. I think by now LucifroN can at least call militia or something. Second TC is going up on the gold. Ooh, this is dangerous though. It's not in range of the Kremlin.
Archers now being made by Beasty. The outpost on the wood line has not been spotted. Spears are able to step up, but not able to get close enough to kill some villagers. And it does look like the boys being pulled should deter Beasty away long enough to get the TC up.
Or is being pulled. Spearmen decide to fight it for at least a little bit. Definitely don't want to stay on that for too long. Archers now coming in as well. It looks like a little bit of a game on who can hold boar aggro. LucifroN wants to get the boar aggro back now. LucifroN pulling the villagers against the outpost again.
Other outposts on the deer.
Yeah, and Beasty realized he pulls all of his units again. Does have an emplacement. Villagers are going to have to get pulled back. That's one villager going down. The emplacement doing a lot of damage here. One villager going down.
He's going to have to pull them all back.
Yeah,
Army a little bit too close.
Or resetting as well. Oh, this is a painful game right now for LucifroN. Such a chaotic one here. He still doesn't have an archery range, does he? And now the outpost coming in the front line. Nothing that he can prevent.
And Beasty, he's taking the boar for himself.
Yeah, LucifroN, he needs his own outpost here. At the very least, to deny Beasty from being able to gather from the boar.
But once Beasty gets his outpost up, gets some nice upgrade on it, that also, I believe, will deny the gold vein on that front side. Beasty outpost on the backside's finished with arrow slits on it. This is definitely a chaotic map, and Beasty has LucifroN cornered with outposts.
I guess now it's time to guess the bounty, bet the bounty. What do you think? What's the bounty for LucifroN right now? I'm guessing he didn't get the boar, right? So I'm guessing it's gonna be, I think he's gotten the tier 2. I think he's at like 260.
I'm gonna go 280.
And it's gonna be
Yeah.
how? Hello? Chat's still guessing.
240.
240. So just below. Oh, and the units arrive with the archers. LucifroN's gonna have to pull the villagers away again.
Can LucifroN get gold anywhere? I think he's kind of
He's kind of stuck right
on
now. Yeah, he
everything.
needs his own archers. The only good thing for him right now is that Beasty behind this isn't like trying to age up. Beasty's actually going for his own second TC from the looks of it. I want to say.
He lost another villager on that, pulling that wood line.
Oh, that was close. Almost lost another one there yet again. Has to commit. Might lose another one. Barely stays alive.
Think about how many villagers though he has at low health. It's just like
The idle time behind it all.
if any raids come through, if any of these little like spearmen or archers, he doesn't need 9 archers to kill. He needs like 1 archer to kill some of those villagers.
Yeah, this is 100%. Wait, is it a 2TC play? Because he's getting siege engineering now. And he's investing into boat. Maybe it's not a 2TC play. Maybe he's just saving up for rams.
Just going for the end. I think if he just ram push that middle TC, go for the end. You're up 24-6 as far as military goes. Beasty even invests into a galley, I think, to circle around and go deny the gold vein that LucifroN was on.
Yeah, this is gonna be quite tough now for LucifroN to hold. He does finally have a villager lead after quite a while of having that second TC up now. He was behind in villagers for a while, and he lost so many villagers. Just him being in the lead right now is quite the turnaround, I want to say. But he doesn't have military, barely any.
And the first ram's coming. The first knight just now is in queue, but that's going to take a little bit, and there's already double-digit spears essentially out too. Villagers being pulled. Gonna try to get some quick torches on that ram. Or rams, I should say.
Ooh. Yeah, it's so many. You can't hold this. LucifroN has to pull back. More villagers going down here.
You gotta give this
He's
up.
Preparing.
You gotta give this up, right?
And at the same time, the galley is now hitting the gold as well. I'm not sure if LucifroN noticed. He did notice. Villagers are being pulled away. Knight dying to the spears now. Repair still going on. Villagers did get taken down.
Insufficient wood!
Oh no, yeah, this is over.
Villagers inside the TC have to run. Archers closing the gap. Rams now get to take down the ranges that just now started to actually be produced and start using that production. Gonna take down the stables right after this. Beasty, chaotic map, making it look easy with that outpost rush.
Yeah, and the Kremlin can't really do anything against those rams, and LucifroN, he's struggling. 8 military to 25 right now. Yeah, those archers are dead now as well. Outpost will go up, and GG gets called.
We talked so much about this being such an easy one for Roos, it being one-sided, and that Beasty was going to be able to pick Archipelago right after. But instead, Beasty, he puts LucifroN onto the back foot from the very beginning. Outpost rush just caused so much idle time, ends up getting a few Vil picks here and there, and then it's just too much damage for LucifroN to come back from.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it was just an overreaction a couple of times here from LucifroN, and man, this felt like a game that he should be able to win. I personally think like the 2TC play is a little bit too greedy in this situation, especially on this tiny map as well, because your opponent is already forced into hyper aggression, and because the map is so small, it means that your opponent doesn't have a long march over to your base. So the timing for aggression against the second TC comes in super, super quickly.
Yeah, and it was one of those two that like you kept on saying it. You were like, Lucy still doesn't have a range. Where is his range? He still doesn't have a range. It's like it felt like if he had like even if he had gone second TC but dropped the range first and at least pushed back some of these random villagers, some of the spears inside the outpost, and allowed himself to break out of that chokehold he was in, it made it maybe have been a little bit better. But by the time he started dropping production buildings, Beastie was at like 20 something military units already. And appreciate the 10 gifted subs coming in from, we'll call them Jedi AOE.
Jedi, JD, thank you very, very much. Next game, we can already see the civilizations that have been picked, and it's going to be that kind of like China-ish mirror, Zhuji versus China on water. And this is a tough one. I talked about earlier, I think Zhuji just kind of counters China in many ways, especially on water, it's just that much of a more tempo-oriented civilization with that meditation garden, already starting the game off with an imperial official. It's going to be tough here for China long term. I think, like, unless LucifroN with his already like god tier micro on water can win the game early, it's going to be super tough, because not just only does like Zhuji already get like their economic bonus in Feudal Age with the meditation garden, they also get a discount towards Castle Age. Meanwhile, China, in order to get their like quote unquote eco bonus in Feudal Age in this matchup, they would have to go Song Dynasty. That's 600 resources down the drain, and they don't get a discount on that.
Yeah, that's 600 resources that you cannot end up spending, or else you're going to lose all your water. And then your second TC or your extra villager productions aren't going to matter whatsoever. And yeah, LucifroN, he just said, pay now, pay later. I'm going to have to play Archipelago eventually if I win on Coastal Cliff. So let's go ahead and just get it out of the way, play into his strength, which may not be the Civ matchup, but is water. We know that hybrids are definitely one of his strengths. That ends up leaving Beasty with Molly for Coastal Cliffs. And then LucifroN actually has options. He can do HRE or a U-bid. So it's really one that having this first choice on Archipelago makes it to where if he does win, Beasty doesn't know exactly what to expect here.
Agreed. And here we go. Game number 6. Match point now for Beasty. And he's got the Zhuji's legacy here on Archipelago. LucifroN on the other hand side as the Chinese. And this is going to be an interesting one. Sort of a mirror, sort of not a mirror, as we do see these two variants of each other facing off.
I always love kind of seeing how the layout of Archipelago is, as it's one of those maps that can vary quite differently. Obviously, it's one that, pretty kind of similar spawn types, but it's just the way the islands and way that everything's laid out.
LucifroN, I think we got to call this out. LucifroN, he's got a little bit of a bay there to the north of this island, so a little bit of a more closed off area for fishing if he needs it. Sometimes we do see like these kind of areas where the other player just downright can't go. LucifroN, he's got the bay, but it's still accessible for BC. And both players here, they're leading their scouts, being efficient with their population space. It's one of those rare few times where we see like just the military graph empty.
Yeah, I laugh about it. It is one that these little bits of efficiencies, it helps you out those couple seconds, makes your life a little bit easier. You don't have to kind of worry about those timings as much. And once you've gotten the vision on your island, what's that scout going to do for you?
Yeah. Looking at the spawns here, Beasty, he's got a decent spot, I want to say, for Meditation Garden. Should be able to get 25 stone, 25 gold, and a little bit of wood in on that. Nothing like groundbreaking, but a decent one, definitely for sure. We'll be able to passively afford some emplacements on his stocks as time goes on.
Over on LucifroN's side, he's got triple gold veins right near and dear to each other, but not too big of a worry as if this were a land map, it'd be a little bit different. If this is a water map, it's not like that that gold can be denied too easily.
Beasty TC hopping with his Imperial Official. LucifroN, this should also be the time. I think the next villager of his is going to be an Imperial Official. Should definitely be like this time. Like usually whenever you start making your lumber camp, that's when you go for the Imperial Official to immediately supervise it. There it is.
Yep, going ahead, getting that supervision in on the lumber camp, getting that little extra efficiency in. And so soon enough, Feudal Ages will start to come into play. And that is when the game is really going to open up.
Early village coming in here for Beasty is going to save himself a lot of wood in the long run here. The village is a lot more resource efficient when it comes to giving you population space. It's going to be just in time for the fishing ship as well.
Yep. Just
Solid
that
macro
clean
there.
timing. Very clean timing there. Ecos are looking dead even. Military's obviously still at nothing. But Beasty, next drop-offs of that IO. I think if there's 40 in the dock here, he gets the age up. Oh my
And
gosh,
there we
that's
go.
so clean. He just needs to
Meditation
force
gun.
drop.
It's discounted. It's
Oh
discounted.
yeah,
so
it is.
yeah, 170 gold, 340 food for that one. Meditation garden is now going up, and yeah, he's aging up quite a bit sooner than LucifroN is. Only aging up with 3 villages as well, so not really rushing that out. Just utilizing his increased efficiency here.
Meanwhile, LucifroN just now starting his Imperial Academy right behind the stone, right next to that wood line. It will have that influence on all those lumber camps for a significant amount of time. So really, really nice positioning point. Second dock already being dropped for Beasty as well.
Yeah, second dock should be coming in for LucifroN some point now as well. He's using one of his fishing ships now to scout. Beasty is doing the same. And Beasty, I think, yeah, he's going to find LucifroN, I think, before LucifroN will find Beasty. Wait, that's an interesting neutral market here. Just a neutral market, not a big island at all.
Like, hey, you know, it's you could still drop off resources. They'll get it to where it needs to go. You just got to trust it.
That's not usually the way this map generates at the very least. It's just a neutral market. That's funny. And BC does indeed now spot LucifroN.
Getting that vision and knowledge of where your opponent is so crucial, especially when you're the first one aging up. You need to know where to go with your boats. If not, I've seen it where, you know, someone circles around for a minute and then all of a sudden, by the time they find the opponent's dock, it's a sprinkled ship that pops out and the archer ship immediately dies.
Yeah, archer ship though gets intercepted by LucifroN with his own archer ship. So having a little bit of a micro war there on open waters. Next up should be a sprinkled ship. There we go. Should be in for both of these players. I can already tell just Juji with the timing. It's just all this little bit of efficiency on all of these different sides that stacks up here. Means that Beasty is going to be the first one to just really start building up on his water army.
Yep, just a step ahead in all these different games. It just really creates this snowball. He's already got double Brodex finish, where LucifroN's just queuing his up. He's already got his sprinkled chip out and another in queue. LucifroN only has one in queue. So you can just see how the reason why we talk about Zuji being that strong civ, that civ to worry about on these pure water maps, and this is the exact reason why.
LucifroN getting a slight lead when it comes to fishing ship numbers. Also has the ability of making Imperial officials now from his landmark. So that's just going to pile on. I think, yeah, 2 Imperial officials now that he's made from the Imperial Academy is going to save, or rather, he's going to get like an additional villager's worth of it, as Beasty Ushu's Legacy has to make those Imperial officials from the TC. Can't make those and a villager at the same time. And overall gold income, I'm not sure what's better here, just having the additional 25 gold from the Meditation Garden or having like double the gold from the tax buildings here. I think in the early game definitely has to be the taxes.
Yeah, well, especially if you got the extra IOs out, because then you have one supervising and then the other that, you know, is constantly just gathering up, not only from your docks, but also from your lumber camps and stuff. So I think China does have that leg up as far as that middle early game goes. But the Meditation Gardens over the course of time is just so hard to be able to deal with, especially with the stone.
LucifroN, he's investing a lot into demolition ships right now. I really like this. Having 4 sprinkled ships, enough to one-shot a demolition ship. And after that, just the pure mass of demo ships. And this is actually, I feel like, the best way to utilize all of this additional tax income that he has with the Chinese, with the Imperial Academy. Because that's really where China's strength right now is in this matchup. Early game, you research and upgrade, you're getting 64 gold back. And just overall, so much tax that can be collected here as well. And this should be a dead archer ship now. LucifroN using set the sails. And is he going to get it? 2 shots go off. 1 more shot. And another one.
Oh, and he gets it.
Clutch connection there.
And the clutch connection, especially considering what you just mentioned. He's got 4 demos. What's Beasty have to be able to deal with these demos? A fishing boat gets taken out. Demo's starting to close the gap. There's a demo on Beasty's side as well. First explosion for LucifroN. Couple decent. Oh, the fishing! Oh, BC just lost 6 fishing boats.
Oh, there's a demo ship from Beasty, though, coming from the backside. LucifroN reacts, is still gonna take some heavy hits there. And overall, LucifroN just lost a lot of his military on water.
Yeah, it was one of those, he had to sacrifice some of his military ships, but he got a ton of fishing boat pickups. But look at the eco difference now. Beasty, he's down 7 eco, but now he's headed towards LucifroN's docks, and LucifroN does not have the same defense that he does.
I don't think food is going to be a difference maker here, though. LucifroN, he's floating 500 plus food. Beasty right now is the one that's making a lot of demo ships. LucifroN, he's got 2 archer ships. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't think so. And he's got to evacuate his entire fishing ship economy here. Otherwise, it's just going to go down. It's so many ships right now from Beasty. This could be a quick one.
Indeed, there's just not the same defenses here for LucifroN. He's trying the best he can to defend this up. There's so many demos from Beasty, just like LucifroN just had. But this time, Beasty's being patient with this. He knows he has the time to do it, letting the Springle chips do the job, but demos from LucifroN closing the gap. Couple connections, get some Springle chip takedown.
That's a
more demos coming in, though.
Oh, these aren't really the connections that Beasty was looking for there. From LucifroN, it's starting to even out a little bit, but still Beasty, he's right there in front of his base, not really looking to move away from this point anytime soon. 3 archer ships here as well right now makes it very difficult for LucifroN to get the connections in. Was able to pick apart a couple of these ships, though.
Using the fishing ships to do some healing up on those springled ships on that galley. Another demo ship pops out. Beasty, he has all his reinforcements heading this way, but is it going to end up being enough? Another demo ship gets taken out. One more left. Isn't able to close the gap. And this has just been crazy trade. I have no idea.
That is so crazy.
To be fair, Beasty had like all of his fishing boats taken out when LucifroN came with that first attack.
Yeah, but I feel like LucifroN lost a lot there as well, or it feels like he should have. Archer ship did go down. Demo ship's now closing the gap. One Springle ship goes down. Springle ship will get taken low. Lots of the demo ships from Beasty just went down. He holds.
LucifroN holds.
How did he do that? My God, what the hell was that? That was incredible. See that
0-0. We're starting again. It's like dead even.
Ship advantage as well behind it all. And Beasty, now it comes into play that he's suddenly lacking food.
Yep. And this is where all LucifroN needed to do was hold that. His fishing boat production has started to boom back up. I think Beasty has, but that means no military ships are in queue now. I don't know if LucifroN realized how much damage he did early on with that first push.
Yeah. Now he's got 6 Springle ships to 1. Jesus. Dude, so many players I know would have just folded under that pressure from Beasty there, just being right under the dock the entire time.
Yeah, I was just, it was one of those, I kept looking up at the numbers and I was like, how is Beasty not further ahead? How is he not further ahead? And then somehow, some way, LucifroN holds, and let's see if he can switch it back over, get the pressure down on the other side. Demo ship getting pretty close to taken down. I did hear it explode.
I think one did get taken down there. One makes it out alive. LucifroN, his food income right now is also lacking quite a bit. I think he actually did take a good amount of damage, or at least a good amount of idle time on his fishing economy there overall. But it doesn't matter as much because right now he's just making the demolition ships again. Lots and lots of demo ships. He's piling up a lot of wood as well. This is the point in time now where he kind of needs a market.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you also dropping another dock on the north or east side and just getting some extra fishing down there that would go untouched could go a long way, but is quite a bit of a sacrifice. It's going to be all about this next push again. We saw Beasty hold the first one. We saw LucifroN hold the next one. Can we see it again? There's so many demo ships, so many springled ships. Beasty's trying to go for the flank, going for the circle, but the galley.
Demo ships on demo ships. It's gonna even out. Oh, That's gonna be a connection. Connection on 2 ships. Overall, LucifroN still with the army lead. Man, these shallow waters here, it is so tough for LucifroN to push into this. We can't really see it right now, but if you check out the line of sight here, because Beasty has the fishing ship forward, or because this is rather close to the fishing ships from Beasty, he's got the vision into the shallow waters. They act as stealth forests on water.
Yeah, see, you can't, you always got to, and even still right there, that's so risky headed over to that stealth forest because there could be multiple demos just sitting there ready and waiting.
Which is why he's leading with the archer ships there. Vision is piercing through. Oh, so difficult to tell. Yeah, LucifroN, he needs a fishing ship of his own forward if he really wants to like push through.
Fishing boat never hurts too, just getting some extra repairs on in if you want. LucifroN back up in the economy, still up in the military. Demo starting to close the gap.
Ships.
So many demos. There's a lot of galleys. Galleys starting to get focused down by LucifroN though. Oh, great snipes on the demos from Beasty. Another galley ship taken down. A flank from LucifroN with the demos.
Demo and demo connection. More demos pushing on through.
So many connections.
That's a little bit of overkill. Still a lot of damage done to those Springle ships. And more demo ships coming in behind it all.
Look at the military numbers.
It is so
LucifroN
much.
is just sky high. We talked all about Zushi's legacy being untouchable. And look at the demos. He's just split and connected on 4 different Springle ships at the same time.
Oh my god. Demo ship from BC chasing. Getting taken down before the connection though. And this was quite a good trade there for LucifroN. BC was at like 10, 12 Springle ships there. So many just went down there. And he still has 11 demo ships out. Now 7 Springle ships as well. Could this be the final push now for him?
It might just be the demos are headed not only towards the Springle ships, if they get on top of the docks as well, but Beasty, he has his own demos flanking on around. It's going to be some demo on demo action.
Gonna be enough. Demo ships could... Oh, that's a lot of damage to the demo ships there from LucifroN though.
He might want to just send those home, get some repairs on in, and then regroup and come forward again.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. I think you gotta heal that up a little bit. Just being able to tank one of the galley archer ship shots is quite important. If you're not able to tank that, those ships just go down super quickly.
Yeah,
a little bit of a woodline migration as well.
The tax man is definitely.
Hello? Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. But we're still. The game is still going on. The game is still going on. Don't go anywhere.
Galley's still sniping down some demos. LucifroN still in the lead by a good little bit. But when will the breakthrough be?
Can Beasty come back from this? He still has a very good amount of units on water here behind all of that. Still, the army value, or rather the army count, definitely favoring LucifroN. The question is, are the demo ships in the end going to be enough? Beasty, he's getting an additional 2 archer ships out. 5 archer ships right now. He has the tools in order to beat back all of those demolition ships. Beasty, he's sending a couple of demo ships on the top side into the economy from LucifroN. Could potentially kill a couple of fishing ships there. No connections though.
They get spotted out by the galleys and easily cleaned up, but at the same time, LucifroN has some going for Beastie's fishing / docks. Just takes out a fishing boat. He's like, all right, there's nothing there. I'll come back here in a little bit.
That's so many demo ships still in queue for LucifroN. He's just not giving up with that pure demo ship spam. This time though, Beasty also on 9 demo ships. Another fishing ship.
Oh,
okay, that's a trap. That's a trap in the making.
Spots out the demo trap. Has a fishing boat up this time for the stealth forest, and is headed forward again.
That's still a lot of demo ships over there on that side as well. Push in might be coming in from both sides here.
It's 15.
Oh,
versus 13 demos. It's all about the demo.
It is, but there's so many archer ships as well. 6 for Beasty, about to be 8 from LucifroN there.
I mean, at this point, do you just like not worry about demos and just be like, hey, you're just making wasted resources now? Speaking of going castle, LucifroN is the one who is thinking about it.
It makes sense. You get armored hull, and suddenly you can really take those fights a lot easier. Oh, demo ships get spotted out. LucifroN reacts. That's a lot of demo ships there. LucifroN, does he see it? He must be aware of this. That's a lot from all different sides. Beasty's got 20 demo ships. Galleys? Demo and demo action. Oh my god, they're getting the connections in.
Oh my god.
It's clicked. All of them just exploded. Literally all of them just exploded. And LucifroN, he's not going up. He's reinvesting into water now after all the demo ships just exploded.
I'm so
There's still more coming in. So
LucifroN, though, he did lose out on a little bit of fishing during that. He still has the defender's advantage again, though. Demos just get to pop out, close the gap a little bit easier. Not too many galleys left. BC trying to run on home.
Hiding there, gets the shots in on a lot of the demo ships. Not too many connections coming in. Hiding now on LucifroN's side as well. I hope he has a market. Yeah, he has a market. He just sold resource. Okay.
I mean, are we going to see it where the wood lines run out on the original islands?
It's looking like it. There's still a lot of wood remaining. I'm just glad both players have markets right now because like the economy can get really rough in these kind of situations. It's such a back and forth water fight right now between these two.
Yeah, usually there's a lot of complaints about the water maps. This one feels like a little bit of a different water map than usual. BC was about to refresh the lumber camp, maybe realizes there's not too much wood left down there to grab. He's gonna.
I think woodline's ugly though.
Last woodline's real ugly, and it's really close to water that is visible from LucifroN if he pushes back.
Yeah, that's not a woodline you really want to go for. That hurts.
LucifroN going with a little bit of a galley flank there. And Beasty is indeed going to those 2 different wood lines left. Meanwhile, LucifroN, he's still got that really big wood line left on that he moved over to recently.
Ships moving in on both sides, actually. Oh, both Beasty is moving in from that side as well. I hope he doesn't confuse LucifroN's demo ships with his own. That would be a disaster. That would be a disaster. He just got all of his demo
snipe almost. Huh?
Huh? Huh? Huh? Huh? Huh? Huh?
Oh, so many demos from Lucy, though. He's got them on both sides.
Oh, because some connections coming in.
I mean, look at the military mass now. I think that was it. Lucy got a couple of the connections that he needed.
But Beasty still has a lot of resources. So many demos still in the queue for him.
Defender's advantage too. Those demos come out real quick. He can get some crazy explosions. LucifroN, though, he does have a few galleys here. He has his own demos still. Might be able to start taking down the docks, and more importantly, the villagers.
Only one archer ship, and yeah, the villagers on the woodline are exposed.
Oh my, more demo shots. LucifroN in these demos is unbelievable.
It's been so many demolition ships here.
Villagers now.
Oh, demo ship coming in. But BC's got 10 demo ships in queue. That's not enough, though.
That's his last hope, though. Oh, that so demo, though. Took out 4 sprinkled ships.
What? It's back and forth again. Oh my god. It's all demos. This game has been nothing but demolition ships all throughout. My god.
Dock emplacement helping out a little bit.
Does Beasty even have any fishing ships left? I don't think he does.
No, I don't. I think he's complete. He's at 120 food per minute, so his food income is down the drain. His docks are starting to be damaged. His wood lines are running low. Beasty, we've seen him come back from this, but Beasty is up against the wall.
Even more demolition ships coming in. One Springle ship getting taken down immediately now. And teal and green, sometimes it can be very difficult, it feels like, for these players to tell the ships apart. The allegiances of the different ships from these demo ships here. But it's just been non-stop action. So many demo ship connections coming in here. Once again, a large cluster of demo ships moving forward. But right now, it's just archer ships here. You have to take care of all of these demo ships, and a lot of demo ships from Beasty do go down there. It's still so many emplacements, though. And they do tick for heavy damage on these archer ships.
Yep. Demos, though, headed forward from Lucy. It might be the point where he uses them on docks, but not yet deciding to. Couple sprinkled ships a little too far forward and falls back away. Beasty still trying to hold. He's getting a little bit of return damage in, but I feel like this is still just a ticking time bomb.
Still 6 Springle ships alive for LucifroN right now. But he really needs to start working on those docks. Decent placement so far. They've been taking a toll on the units here.
Beasty has a couple demos just sitting there watching.
Both sides. That goes both sides.
Oh, one of the first dock does get put on fire. I think we will start to see some docks getting taken down.
2 Springle ships. Both going down.
I mean, Beasty, his numbers, they're starting to climb and LucifroN's are still falling.
A ship going past that Springle ship.
He still holds, at least for the time being.
LucifroN's eco and water is clumped up. I think LucifroN's water eco is clumped up right now. Springle, the demo ships from Beasty.
Oh, good
LucifroN
reaction.
reacts.
Such a quick reaction.
That could have been a big shot.
And then has a galley there that's going to force Beasty to blow it up on maybe not. Oh, that's a good one. Four fishing boats. Definitely still worth. Fishing
Beasty.
rebooming for Beasty in the southern side.
I think he's stabilizing.
I think he is too. But that's the last of his wood. That is like 100% the last of his wood. He's going to need to transport over to this east island.
Yeah.
Whoever secures that southern island with all the wood wins the game.
Should be. He's adding in even more docks now as well. There should be Castle Age for one of these players coming in soon, but I think LucifroN wants to commit this to Feudal Age. Wants to end the game.
He is starting to take down the docks on the southern side. More resources going down. Demo immediately gets taken down as it pops out. But, I mean, Beasty has held from this position point before. LucifroN, same thing. Demo's blown up for no reason.
Demolition ships once again. These are only Springle ships, though. Looks like there was a good connection there as well.
Couple more Springle chips go down. Good connections from Beasty. He's doing everything he can to come back from this positioning point he finds himself in this 27-minute archipelago game.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Still no age up in sight for either of these players now. Just continuously reinvesting at LucifroN. He's up to 15 demolition ships once again. Man, this is crazy. Usually this map doesn't go for that long. We saw it once between like Demu and Cat, and that was quite the messy game as well.
We're about to see 20 demo ships from LucifroN and BC. I think at this point he just needs to get some more archer ships pumping on out. His few archer ships he does have start to get focused down.
It's a lot of Springle ships, but it's also a lot of demolition ships. LucifroN is going for it. Here we go again. But it's exploding on each other.
Directions. I think Beasty had 2 demos just take out 20 of LucifroN's.
Do we need formations on water? We do. Oh no. That's a lot of ships that just went down. Oh, shallows though. Gotta be careful. can't overstep. LucifroN still has the army lead, but it's mostly demolition ships at this point in time. And Beasty, he's got a firm hold on the Springle ship lead.
Oh, look at the wood line. We see the doubled view. There's not much of it left.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna expire at one point. Oh. Man, this is a rough one. This is such a rough one. A little bit of micro there from that single fishing ship. LucifroN, he needs more Springle ships now. He knows. He's getting them in queue again. That's so many demo ships once again from both sides here. All throughout.
Can you demo ship those villagers on the wood line?
You could. You could. No player has moved out onto the islands yet. Yeah, this wood is about to expire there. There's not much left. Yeah, there's the first transport ship. Beasty's gonna be the first one to move out.
Fight starting to go down in front of LucifroN's base. This is such a double-edged sword because you're like, yay, I'm starting to deny fishing, starting to get damage on economy. But then the defender's advantage is so strong with so many demo ships, great explosions from Beasty, has to worry about the flank and does so exceptionally. Beasty has taken the military lead. And again, the demo ships! What is LucifroN doing? He groups all his demo ships. He keeps grouping all his demo ships together and just, they all go down.
Oh my god, if he loses it like this. 16 Springle ships now for Beasty. And 9 Archer ships as well. He has what it takes now. I think he has what it takes.
I don't know if LucifroN can hold this anymore, not without some unbelievable demo connections. Good spread from from Beasty.
They're coming in! The demo ships! The connections, they're there! They're huge! They're all going down!
Oh my god!
But the same thing inside. Oh my god, LucifroN doesn't have any more Archer ships. They're all dead. All the Archer ships got taken down by demo ships. If you get enough of them, it works. But still so many demo ships coming in. Explosion on both sides.
What is going on?
What is this game?
LucifroN takes the lead. Beasty has expanded to the eastern island, though, so wood is no longer a problem for him. Transport ships are going across. LucifroN still has another wood line on his island, but has the North Island as well.
Some point he's gonna have to move out, right? Right.
I'm just so confused. What is happening? LucifroN has 20 demos right next to each other that explodes all together. Like,
It's so crazy, man. And once again, LucifroN, 14 demolition ships out. That is not enough. Give me 8 more.
Beasty, he doesn't have anything in queue. He's got 1 Springle chip in queue. He's going
Beasty's
castle.
about to age. Yeah, he must be aging up soon, right? Like, he's got so much gold. He can just buy the food, in theory, that he needs now, and just go up.
Oh, LucifroN's making the transport too. What if they go to the same island?
They're going to the same island. I got no doubt about them going to the same island here. Any moment now, Age Up should be coming in. Oh, smart outpost there from Beasty. Yeah, that's the island that he's going to. Wait, no. Oh? Wait, he transported them to the other side of his own island. LucifroN did, because he still has a wood line there.
Oh, villager.
Huh? We made it to the new world, guys.
This is a totally different island. I've never seen this.
I've never been here before. This doesn't look anything like India.
All right, but LucifroN is starting to move down towards that southern expansion, right where Beasty was starting to kind of mass up his military, mass up his new villager sets. Demos.
Oh, on the fishing. Not sure if that was worth it. He did take down an Archer ship with it as well. That's still a lot of demolition ships. But Beasty's got so many emplacements on the docks that he's got all around his island. It's all the passive stone. Like, we're at like 28 minutes of passive stone income throughout the entire time that Beasty has been using. Interesting little wall there. Wants to make sure that relic isn't going over.
Oh my god.
That's so many. That's not again. Not again. Oh, no. The fireworks.
I'm like, what the? You you gotta give the people what they want, you know?
Oh my god, what is?
Jesus. Oh. LucifroN,
That was a lot of demo ships.
he's making sure people are excited watching this game here.
Oh, they better be. They better be.
I will say LucifroN's doing a good job of like cutting off Beasty's reinforcements. So he saw where Beasty had his army kind of positioning, kind of posturing down to the southern side, and he's taken down 3 or 4 demos, a couple sprinkled chips on the way there. A couple more demos trying to get close to connecting, not
Nice
quite able to
splits.
boost. Really good splits by LucifroN. This time the demos are waiting. They're not going in on the front line.
Ah, they're going good. Oh, no, okay, never mind. Soon, surely sometime soon, one of these players will.
This is gonna be
click
it.
up to
This one's it
cosplay.
right here. Surely, right?
Yeah, surely. Oh no!
It's just like
Wait,
20
there's
demos.
more. There's more. There's more demo ships. Just you wait. There's still more waiting. Oh, the sprinkle ships are alone though, for the most part.
More demos.
It, dude,
It's a constant flow of demos across the map from LucifroN's side. 9 more in queue. 8 more in queue.
dude. Not sure if you played AOE II, but there's this one campaign mission for the Mongols where you just watch this huge horde of just yellow colored orange Mongol units running across the map. That's exactly what this is. It's just this huge mass of units running across the map every single time.
I mean, imagine the old days of the demos when you could like triple queue them up to explode. That's what
a
we're
lot
really
of ships
missing.
again. Goodbye, Springle ships. You will be missed.
Blow one up.
Maybe not even. Just taking down with the archer ships, right?
I mean,
Just
I think at this point, LucifroN can sacrifice some demos. If he sacrifices
LucifroN doesn't have any
20 every now and
Springle
then.
ships left. I think LucifroN lost all of his Springle ships.
He did. He only has 1 out there, 5 more in queue. He's only been queuing up demos for so long.
LucifroN, he's still not out on any of the islands. Oh,
4 demos for 1 fishing boat. Okay. All right, LucifroN sprinkled number climbed up really quick, and BC sprinkled number is only at 3. So, I mean, are
been-
sprinkled chips just the bait at this point? Like, I feel like I'd rather just have like 20 galleys and just like use the AOE fire, you know?
there we go. Yeah, it's time for LucifroN to move out as well. Beasty, he's scouting with the fishing ships now, looking for the economy, where LucifroN is getting his resource from. He's gonna find out soon. I think the walls themselves are just gonna give vision.
Mm-hmm. I think BC dropped an outpost behind those walls too.
He's got a villager there with a lumber camp.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, no. Okay.
Oh, that's a lot of demo ships. Where are they? Oh,
LucifroN's taken the southern island.
yeah, but at the same time, LucifroN, he might find himself pinched there in that spot. Because the entire fleet from Beasty is approaching now.
Who has the numbers? Who's going to take the winning fight? There's so many demos again, and they're all get blown up.
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. That's what this feels like.
LucifroN,
My
though, he
God.
has found himself in the corner. He has demos on the backside, but there's so many galleys here that he can't step up with those archer ships. And now all the sprinkled ships will end up going down over here. He's going to have to reboom, have to regroup on the front side again.
Beasty, he didn't have anything left to mine inside of his base. He just took down like an entire stone mine. He suddenly has like 2k stone in the bank. Why is this game still in feudal age? Why is this game still in feudal age?
They're max pop. They're max pop. This is. Okay.
Okay.
"40-minute feudal game." Did you have this one on the bingo cards today?
Okay, I want to say before the next set, we have to look at the AOE IV world stats for this, and we got to count how many demo ships have been made.
Yeah, we're gonna. That was just 3 for 3. Is that even worth it?
Worth it for me.
That's just like, all right, whatever. Even
I
trade.
think looking at the economy, like BC has to be going up soon, right? Like he has to.
2,000.
There's no
Is he
other way.
wondering soon? He might drop a wonder soon.
Feudal Age Wonder. Oh, oh. Oh my god, there's so much going on in this game on water, of all things. Demo ships, hugging demo ships. You know, funnily enough, if you have enough demo ships, they actually start becoming quite effective against the archer ships as well.
I feel like that's almost how the archer ships would be against the springled ships. Like, just get as many archer ships as possible, and now you're just going to be AoE firing on everything. Oh, just kill the villagers.
Oh, come on.
Kill the villagers.
Yeah.
Woo!
Let's go. And now Asia. There we go. Mount Blue Academy. Wait, what?
Actually,
why Mount Blue?
an outpost on that middle island. BC has enough for a keep. He could just drop a keep right after that, and middle island control would be auto win. And oh my god, villagers for LucifroN are getting attacked now. This
That
could
might
be
be
it.
it, actually.
LucifroN might got this. Or I mean, sorry,
Been
BC
saying
might have
could
this
be
with
it for a while. Actually, never mind. There's students there. He's fine.
well.
He's lost a lot though. I think. Maybe. And now A-Job has come in. Does LucifroN even have enough to pull the trigger now? I wonder.
Armored hull already on its way. Sprinkled in placement into that middle outpost
so
right off the
demo
bat.
ships.
So many demos, and I
Demo
don't think LucifroN has enough here to deal with this.
I don't think so either. It's just too many explosions. Oh, can't walk on top of it though. Yeah, LucifroN has to make something happen now, like right now. Can he though? The middle has been fortified.
Yeah,
And
triple outpost.
BC has enough for almost 3 keeps behind this. Like he can just land with 16 villagers and keep all over LucifroN's base.
That would honestly just be the perfect ending to this game. But an even more perfect ending, all of these demos just closing the gap. LucifroN, though, still has his ships alive, still pretty healthy for the most part here. Armored hull is in, though, so the trades are going to be so much better for BC now.
Yeah, military lead still there for LucifroN, but the demo ships are closing in on the sprinkled ships. No splits happening. Huge connection. BC got the upgrade for the improved radius on the demo ships.
LucifroN has to go up soon, or else he will just continue to lose this battle.
Resources. He does not have the resource for this. And I think slowly but surely, this game is gonna get close to ending. Right?
Right?
That's a bet.
Surely. Oh, another couple galley shots. I feel like if BC continues to just get a couple more of those galley shots in, eventually they will pay off.
Eventually they will. Oh, demos coming in. There was one frontside demo though. Oh, they're not gonna get a connection in, are they? They're not gonna get a connection in. But there's still so many more demo ships. I don't know where they are though. LucifroN's army, a little bit out of position now. Where are the demo ships at?
They're sitting at home.
And there's the keep. Keep number 1. And now BC's on the other side as well.
Yeah, keep number 2 is going to go up on the other island, and an outpost is going to go up behind this too. LucifroN's going to be full tonight off the wood line. He's going to have nowhere to go on that island. But the demos, BC was a little distracted on the island. Demos getting some huge connections, but Armored Hull still proving to be a little bit too much, as BC still ahead on the military numbers.
LucifroN's out of gold. LucifroN's actually out of gold, and GG gets called. He actually mined through all the gold on his island. Doesn't have enough anymore. Doesn't even have enough to go up to Castle Age. And with that, Beasty wins the set, and we got the stats right here. LucifroN made a total of 358 demolition ships versus Beasty, who made 273. My God, that's a lot of demo ships.
631 total demolition ships. And my question is how much demo on demo violence was there?
A lot. My God.
I mean, that was one of the craziest games I think I've ever casted. And we've been casting for a while, and I just never would have ever expected to see that game, even talking about it, being like, hey, yeah, you're about to see a 40-minute feudal age game on water. And yes, that is where basically resources are going to be mined out, max population feudal age.
The most explosive water game of all time.
I mean, that was more demos than a demolition derby, all right? That was enough to get any Michael Bay enthusiast out their seats. In fact, if anyone ever wants to bring a Call of Duty friend into the Age of Empires world, you show them that game right there. That's more than they've ever seen in their life. Absolute insanity. What a series, though, boys. You know, I want to keep this short because I think you need to go actually rewind and just actually reset, because we still have another series to come, believe it or not, folks. But the stats hold up here, Dabston, right? Like, we kind of went into this, we were like, Beasty, he wins, I think 70% of the time, but this looked like it could have been LucifroN's game. I think it's fair to say that may be a top 3 all-time great Archipelago game that we will ever see.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, first, how many Archipelago games have we seen over time? but yes, that is. I mean, I could go ahead and say that's my top 1 Archipelago game by far. So not even top 3. Yeah, there we go. Core's reinforcing that one. What a crazy series! There were so many points that LucifroN easily felt like had games closed out. Could have had this one 4-2 himself, but instead falls to Beasty 4-2. And I mean, not enough could be said about that one.
I mean, honestly, cracking it. I was just sitting there. I was like, is LucifroN a Terran player? I checked Terran player. Okay, so he's not a Zerg player. And I'm like, well, Beasty played all Sis. I guess, like, we haven't got a Zergling specialist there, right? Because if we say this is Water Balings mode, the reason we got so many demos dying is pretty much everyone was just piling on into each other nonstop. It's crazy to think that you can actually sustain on one island that long, but I think that goes a long way to show why China and Zhuji are such top tier picks there.
Exactly. Just having so many resources in through tax as well. I wonder just how much tax was gathered throughout that game in order to enable that spam. But behind this, I gotta quickly shout out a couple of the subs that came in. But we do have an instant replay there. There we go.
And reset. I think my favorite part is archer ships looked OP at the end as well, right? We reached Castle Age and all of a sudden, oh, it's just 17 archer ships to end the game. Oh, absolutely incredible set.